Alrighty then, gamers. Let us wrap this 2025 with one more ride into the sunset. It is the last Sunday evening of the year, and we're just about ready to get started with the weekly show matches here on Bounty Hunters. So, as you may know, the name of the game, once again, is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins. Skill-based matchmaking applies to all matches, and we're open to players of all skill levels to join the fun. Now, we did have potentially a lot of changes to the roster, but we were able to procure save the first matchup slot, which needs to happen exactly right now. Some really tough colliding schedules, but I think the first one is going to be happening, which is going to be Miku's random select versus MOB's Testament. We have pretty, I think, yeah, we need to stall a little bit for Miku to get here, which is fine. We're a little behind in schedule anyway, so we can start with talking about what's on the horizon tonight. The schedule is pretty varied today. No duplicate characters other than 2 Potemkins, which is, you know, it's actually funny who is playing the Potemkins. We have sort of like a Finnish Potemkin evening here. We've got Niemi and Tomi. Funny thing is, Tomi is the sort of the Zato Grandmaster, who is trying their hand at this new character. Yet the big body player, the de facto Finnish big body player ZoKHiZ is not playing Potemkin tonight. Is going to be playing Leo instead against Hoplan's Nagariyuki. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Hoplan once again there, taking names and destroying super top level players. Otherwise, yeah, pretty decently high level evening as well. We're starting with the 3 intermediate matches and moving on to the high level matches after that. We also have monnter making their comeback after their debut on Bounty Hunters, that Elfelt play. And as far as I can tell, yeah, everybody else is pretty much regulars. So we're rocking with a lot of familiar names tonight. Alright, looks like we do have Miku ready to go, so let's transition into our funny little thing. So how these random character select matches work, between every match we are randoming a character for Miku. Mob is going to be character locked tonight, so only one player is going to be taking the randoms. And I believe the random rules once again are no duplicates, so every character can appear only once. So let's bring out the role interface. Getting all my stuff ready to go. Here we go. Roll the first character, and as you can see on the screen, we have Miku's perceived character power tier list, which is of course the good old how strongly do you feel that you're piloting these characters in relation to one another. Of course, there's a lot of math going into it. Let me actually let's do first random Unica. There's of course like a lot of variation, because like one player's tier list might be like completely different than somebody else's. If you sort of, let's say you have a character on a mid tier for one player, the mid tier for another player who's on a sort of different skill level overall is going to be very different. Now Unica here, first random for Miku, is going to be around mid-tier pick, so not the worst, not the best either. A very standard kind of character, and already we are going into this guard crush loop, which you kind of do have to jump against or mash like very, very fast reaching mid-range buttons if you want to get out of that. So usually when you go into the arbalest state, which you can activate with //lash or 2SS. Went for the throw, and Mob does get out of there. teleport out of the corner, but however, quick reaction there. On point playing the teleport out of the corner RPS. If the Testament player has a skull marker on the field, there is always an opportunity to use the possession. Oh, wow, that thought we got a big 5 heavy counter hit, which even with a couple of hits deals basically 1/3 of MOB's hit points. Nice instant air dash out of the corner with the OTG. Oh, I think the timing was a little off there. Wanted to go for an FRC into probably close range pressure or something of the sort. Going for an overhead. If you don't get a counter hit or spend meter for those blue overheads, they can't really be converted into anything. So Unica in that sense, very honest character, has to usually spend meter for her high-low mix-ups. Popping the stain here, should be able to get, ooh, again, I think this was the exact sequence that Mo was trying to do earlier, was able to do it now, but still not quite getting the bang out of the buck out of it that you were hoping for. And yeah, that's gonna be it for that Unica. Removed from the pool, and we're gonna pick up the next one, which is Jack O for Miku. Jack O can be found, let's see, where? I am blind as per usual. It's at the top of the list, yeah. It's yeah, I think one of Miku's main characters. The thing with Miku is, I don't think we've ever seen Miku playing anything but random on bounty hunters. That's actually a huge shout out to, you know, never showing up with your main character. And I do wonder if Miku even has a main character of sorts. I mean, usually you do, but some players, you know, along the way have treated this event as kind of a fun little thing. And yeah, if you want to increase your fun to the maximum, if that is the kind of fun that you like to have, you can definitely play a random character. But a lot of power level for this bop here for Miku. Will be able to recover there in time. And backdash PRC overhead, sinks in, looking for one more hit. Maybe burn the meter for the hit just a bit earlier, but you know, no resources were wasted that day, and the opponent was able to be contained in the corner. Too heavy anti-air there. We definitely take that. There is a lot of disjoint on that, so if your opponent is air dashing from really far away, it can be a potential anti-air. Nice interception there with the crow as well. Projectiles colliding in a nice teleport through the minion tosses. Even if you are a zoning character, those can be really hard to deal with because minions can have some really fucked up properties, especially if you kick them forward. They do tend to sort of clash or go through the opponent's stuff very, very strongly. Another backdash PRC option select, or sorry, mix up. And again, not quite having the reaction to go for the super, or rather had already queued up an option that prevented Miku from doing so. Tried to play the overhead again, but this time, I think the timing was a little off. No worries, we still get it. Miku ready to mix it up. Yeah, that is probably the hardest matchup you will have to face during this set, so in a way, I guess you can breathe one sort of sigh of relief, although there is still 3 extremely powerful characters in Miku's arsenal, out of which we are gonna actually random into one of those. So Asuka there in the main character status for Miku. It certainly isn't an easy start for MOB. But I mean, technically, even if Miku gets like the best possible luck here, there is only 4 picks that you can get from that tier, as we are removing these characters as they are being randomed into. So 50% of Miku's top tier already spent. Let's see if we might be able to steal this one. It is usually like very hard trying to take games from like a randoming player's top repertoire cast. And this is a really tricky character to play against as well. A character that can really exploit your unfamiliarity with the matchup, as well as if there is like a decent skill gap between the players. Asuka is the kind of character that can take huge advantage of that. With an empty hand at the moment, though, we'll use the super to mulligan a very powerful hand into 2 of those arpeggios. Very powerful spell if you have the room to use them. Of course, the difficult thing is to try to set up for it. And now the hand seems a little bit worse. 2 utility spells and 1 good spell. We'll be able to get the knockdown, but no recharge on the resources. The only attack spell that Miku has at the moment is a long mid-range spell. We'll be able to find a hit with it. Activate buff, and now trying to... Oh my god, this hand is not the best that Miku hoped for, but was able to sort of cycle through those cards and get a couple of attack cards. I think the worst possible situation you can get into as Asuka is if your hand is nothing but utility. Then if the opponent is paying attention, they can be like, okay, so you have no cubes, you have no standard fireball RPS, I can actually kind of go in on you, which is usually not the easiest case against Asuka's projectiles. Okay, mashing with the red wireless out of the block string. Unfortunately, with the modern patches, you don't get pressure anymore, even if you land it on block. Another empty hand here for Miku, goes in still. Able to reload 1 basic cube, and it should be enough, sending that 1 cube that mattered. Nail on the coffin, as they say. Yeah, who needs more than 1? If you need 1 offensive spell to finish the round, just use it. Doesn't matter if you don't have any more. Milia is gonna be the next pick. Luckily, not in the super top tier for MOB, however, pretty high up still. It is in the pretty good tier, or the B tier, if you will, in the self-evaluation power tiers here. So extremely fiery start for Miku. Did I actually put a point on Miku's account? Let's see, we've gone through Asuka, we've gone through Jacko. There was one more. Yeah, the Unica, so it should be 3-0 at the moment, right? Forgot to add 1 point in there. Okay, so Milia, kind of a tricky archetype for characters like Testament to play against. Fast mobility and a lot of attack angles that you can use to avoid Testament's projectiles. It's gonna be another tough one. Using the burst here, sending neutral crow, which does end up colliding with Miku, so we have the curse applied. And in the modern patches, the sort of, the curse does last quite a long time. I wasn't able to get value with it, stealing the corner with the turbo fall into devious mix-up. That is the name of the game on this character, the original set it and forget it set play character. Nice interception there, jump back, jump slash, able to slice Miku out of the air momentarily, but then 2D counter hit, and we have 50 meter on top of it. Chooses to not break the wall just yet, which is definitely a valid counter play. That was a cool angle there on the chroming, sorry, not chroming rose, the capo in this game. The wall break, no super once again, but that super could potentially be used to skip the neutral and go straight into the opponent's guard. MOB does have blue burst available here, so 1 get me out of jail. Ooh, that was a hard bait there, Miku. Immediately escaping or backdashing out of the pressure, and a big combo coming through. This should get the ball right. Or can choose to not take it in order to keep Milia between a rock and a hard place. Nice block on the overhead. Go for another one. Miku is absolutely cracked. Either reacting like a champion or just absolutely knows that the 20 frame reaction check was what MOB wanted to finish it up with. Very common way to, in high-level Guilty Gear to try to go for that 5D tap, especially if you have resources. Testament is one of those characters who can tap successfully even without the 50 meter as well. So that may be one extra clue that when you are playing against a character who gets to play those 5D mix-ups and still pick up without resources, they probably want to go for it. So good on Miku recognizing that. So Sol is the next pick, and Mr. Bad Guy is also in the pretty good tier. No breaks whatsoever. This is probably, I think, one of the best RNG streaks I've ever seen on bounty hunters for these random select matches. Nothing but A and B tier characters. But on the other hand, this might be an archetype that is a little easier to play against, because like Soul needs to work for his pressure, basically. You do have some mid-far ranging pokes such as like 6S, but he is definitely not known for the neutral game per se. Ooh, okay, jump out of the command grab mix-up. That was with the Gunflame Fate as well. It's a little fun stuff here. Curse is applied, so now rewards are there! Threading the needle, able to get a punch with that 6S that we were talking about and break through the curse. When that stain is applied, any hit on Testament will break it off and get you like huge sigh of relief. For Testament really doesn't have relevant rewards unless the curse is applied. Now speaking of the curse, the super does apply it on the stage break. Ooh, that was not a safe jump, so 9 frame DP able to kill the the jump in and then bait the burst as well. That's a lot of momentum for Miku. As if you already didn't have... Oh, that was a very high hit there, so that Wild Assault combo ended up juggling maybe a little bit too much. Oh, that was a great air throw. As soon as MOB is anywhere in the close by fly zone, we just go for the collar. And now, looking for one more hit. Is this how he's gonna go down once again? Nullifying the incoming projectile with a quick tap on the Gunflame. Miku only needs one. MOB still has a little bit of meter here. Got caught by the heavy Grave Reaper. Maybe waiting for a DP there, which does not come. Jump out of the pressure. Bandit Revolve and switch sides. Or sorry, Bandit Bringer. Ooh, I got some side switching goodies here as well. Going for the possession. Curse is applied. Tries to dunk. What is MOB gonna do? Just holding on to it. Knows that there was resources to spend. Miku, would they burst here is a big question. Able to air dash out of the corner, avoid the crow, and then get the finishing touch. Wow. Alright, surely we're not gonna random into another super strong character for Miku, right? Right? The thing is, Miku has a lot of like characters in those two top tiers. Zato ought to be like weak character, right? Right? Where is Zato? Where is Mr. One? Where is he, by the way? Am I blind? Does this tier list not have Zato? Oh, there it is. So it's in the not bad category. Okay, so this would probably be the first like decent chance for MOB to bring it back, right? And I think I forgot to put a point on Miku's account once again. So this would be the it's almost the 5th. Now we're potentially contending for the 6th point. Alright, it's now or never. Break the momentum or perish. Starting with a 2S. Ends up actually beating Testament's 2S there. Is he actually faster for Zato? Swinging the 5 heavy. That was actually, even though Zato didn't get more than a poke here, breaking or rather removing the curse is a huge RPS wing in itself. Or makes the next interactions like way more favorable for you. Popping the stain, opting to use the heavy fireball there instead of the crow. And now, speaking of the 5D tap, no conversion here. Both players have spent their burst, so next clean hit is gonna be big punishment. Now this time, good trade for MOB in sort of a way. Breaking the puppet is like almost as potent, or maybe even more potent than poking Testament while the curse is applied. Nice instant air dash, able to snipe Miku's Zato here. Send the up fireball. Miku is at a safe range though. Out of harm's range. The crow has a decently large hitbox, colliding with Miku momentarily. Trying to keep the air pads clear. However, the counterplay against that heavy Reaper, when you send it upwards, you're basically saying, I have a heart rate that you're gonna approach approach me in the skies, and if the opponent is vigilant, they are just gonna make it whiff and go for a whiff punish instead. Nice possession can't or escape out of the corner. Gonna get a 6 speed. No, tries to backdash and not quite getting a normal out of there. On the other hand, Miku does have the 6P revved up and now working in tandem with the puppet with the last bit of meter. MOB does burst out of there. Jump cancel into puppet is ready to go. Summons into appears, and MOB has a great rate with an instant air dash. When you summon low, you are open to getting intercepted from the sky, so to speak. Ooh. Hopefully the connection is not too laggy. Nice 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the curse popped. One more hit. Instant air dash trying to reach for it, but no dies. The whiff punish, tap on the 5D, and that's gonna be it. At least on this round for Miku. This time starting with a very safe one. If the opponent's poke can't reach you, that Heavy Reaper upwards is pretty good. Back throw in the corner. This is tough because Miku did have the full puppet ready to go. Whips the burst. It's okay. We still have the position here. Possession, nice angle there coming down from the flight as Miku sending the froggy. We are out of the puppet gauge. FRC into, can we dodge that? Possession to the other side. Miku can't quite tag that. Instead getting tagged by the quick XPS variant, and 5D finds the frame trap. MOB is on the board. I mean, if this was not a you know, opening point, then I guess it would have been just donezo deal for MOB. We absolutely have to take these points that are against Miku's lower tier characters if we want to succeed here. Now looking like Chip is gonna be the next one, which is at the bad tier. Okay, now it starts balancing out. All of those super high tier picks that Miku was able to get early into the set have now turned into bad pick Chips. But on the other hand, like, Chip is a pretty cool character to have in your at the lower end of your tier list, because he is a very standard character. If you sort of have a rough idea what his normal functions are, you can put together, like, with the knowledge of basics of this game, you can put together like a very simple game plan and potentially try to steal rounds from your opponent. Let's see how it goes though. Another archetype, the fast archetype, that is pretty tricky for Testament to deal with usually. Although, I gotta say, Testament does have that DLC 2K, and traditionally K buttons are the go-to buttons for, you know, pretty much any character to deal with Chip. Although Chip in the modern patches has gained that, yeah, exactly that, the basically completely low invulnerable 2D that you can now use to play those footsies if the opponent tries to whip. Ooh, but we got a 6 heavy counter from far away. Maybe a little too far away, not able to convert it. Footsies, mannen, leg inte, as they say in Sweden. Oh, and then another one. That is definitely a footsie button. Has probably the most disjoint out of any Testament buttons that you can put on board. That too heavy. And making quick work. Basically a 2-tap kind of a situation here against our pixie character, Chip. The session is momentarily available, now expired. Ooh, another big counter hit. MOB is swinging pretty hard for the fences. Look at that. That was just a basic, or I wouldn't say basic, but decently hard-hitting counter hit combo without a super. Trade again. Trade should probably be in MOB's favor for now, because you do have a massive life lead. 6P has to burst that. That would have potentially been a kill. And another sweep not sweep the floor, but sweep the floor into a skydive. MOB. Those were some pretty huge haymakers that ended up hitting. That is definitely one strategy that you can have against Chip. If you think Chip is going to be dashing forward, well, send some of your biggest disjoints, biggest combo starters, and hope for the best. Happy Chaos is the pick next for Miku. Difficult character to play, however, a lot of these tricky characters are pretty high up on the tier list for Miku, so Happy Chaos in the B tier is gonna be another tough nut to crack, I would say. You can get probably like a decent amount of value out of this tricky to pilot character if you do know the combo theory. I think the hardest part about Happy Chaos though is that you don't really necessarily have like, what should we call them, like very basic B&Bs that you do all the time. You kind of have to combine combo pieces together with this character in a way, depending on the situation, how many resources you have, and what the overall board state is. But if you know the combo pieces and you're good at piecing it together, then you're at a pretty good point. However, the conversion here into Nostrovia, not quite getting the wall break, or could technically take it, but you probably want to have the hard knockdown instead and work the corner. The 2D mash actually catching the corner steal attempt. Can't block this. The 2K was out, but also, as long as you have the gun, you are in a stance where you can't hold back the block anymore. MOB clears the first round here. Looks like the momentum has started slowly shifting, and MOB is warmed up and ready to go. Speaking of that 2K, the DLC 2K aborts the pressure sequence for Miku. The hesitation there, or the delay, and then into Arbiter sign. Caught Miku, cutting again. Ooh, but this time it's just a shot, and sending the neutral crow is going to be a little too slow here. Drifting into a throw, back throw. Can we get some pressure? The cross up, stealing the corner, and then potentially waiting for a burst, which does not come. Yeah, MOB doesn't really have the burst here necessarily. And good patience here. 6 being into the right direction as well on the Miku side, starting with a 6 heavy. Here got the big combos again. I think this does not build 50, unfortunately, as this is the first hit of the round. But look at the damage. And we still have the curse on. 2K just a little bit too short. That was a nice idea that 2K would be really, really damaging. Going for the wall slam, trying to go for a backdash BRC. Overhead mix-up again, I reckon. Got them with the Arbiter sign. A couple more of those. Could be the round. The cool thing about the Arbiter sign is that it manifests fast, but so does steady aim. You are kind of a hit scan character, if you will. Miku getting the wall break and the hard knockdown. Unique resources looking pretty good as well, so we have all options open for Happy Chaos. The reticle choosing to not quite cooperate here initially, but still able to get the round here with that character that was pretty high level on the tier list for Miku. Now Miku reaching the critical 6 points, it's absolutely necessary that MOB has a little bit of luck in his side, or rather on his side. Baiken is the next one. Where is Baiken located? In the D tier. So not bad, but not too great either. Another opportunity for MOB to potentially put a couple more points on the board. Or was it 7 already? Did I miscount here? We got the 7 already. Or was it just a disconnection? Maybe it was just a disconnection here. Okay, I think MOB back in the lobby. And ready to go for potentially at least one more. Another potentially great meta matchup here for Testament. Testament is pretty good at keeping characters out, and Baiken's problem number 1 is usually getting into her optimal range. But now, as soon as you get to that optimal range, and especially when you manage to get a huge party starter such as the throw in, the matchup completely flips on its side, finding a low with that 2S. Oh, but there was a gap there, and Miku buffering that frame 1 parry, able to get out of the corner and steal the round. Set point Miku. Is this how it's gonna go down? Controlling the air, yes indeed. So we all know how strong the instant air dash jump slash is for Baiken players. Makes sense that MOB would be trying to close the air paths as best as possible, but then Miku making the adjustment immediately, approaching on the ground instead, spending meter, getting a pretty nifty cross-up Yozen there. Not able to open the opponent up with that though. Teleporting in the corner, out of the corner, and Miku is vigilant. This could be the last mix. Mix is no mix this time around. 100 meter in the tank for Miku. We could go for gunshots as well if MOB commits to something slow to recover. And has the FRC out of that, or PRC out of there. Last sliver of hit points. The Yozen hits everywhere. Here comes the can opener. Cleaving to the backside. Secures the 7-2 win for Miku. A lot of strong characters for Miku that run. And the results definitely speak for themselves here. With a decently strong victory, MOB was able to get a couple in there, but wow. Miku's random is absolutely terrifying. Makes sense why this player has basically never played a character lock match on Bounty Hunters before. The sort of the potential or the quality of the character pool is really good for Miku. Okay, next one. This will be the first Potemkin matchup of the evening, especially since we on the Miku side did not random into any Potemkin. So 2 Potemkins on the roster. First one of them is gonna be Niemi. So this is a Finland country mirror. An interesting theory, like if I would attribute certain, or like if I would assign attributes for these 2 players, Niemi is a very recent acquisition in terms of players on our Bounty Hunters roster, but has been very active since their debut. I think this is like the 3rd time or the 4th time we see Niemi on screen. On the other hand, Worst is basically part of the regulars at this point. It's been a while since we've seen Worst last time, but every single time we see Worst, it's usually like a lot of fun stuff. Faust players are absolutely the S tier kind of players to bring the fun into Guilty Gear Strive for sure. I don't think we ever had we've never really had a non-entertaining Faust player on the show. Is that the character is just a lot of chaos and a lot of fun stuff. Like the core concept of this character has always been react to your item throws and make the best plays with, the items that you get to react to. And the same kind of meta game is available for the opponent as well. You're kind of trying to see what your opponent throws out and maybe race for the good items, try to evade the dangerous items, and that creates like a completely unique kind of way to play this video game. I think I forgot to put the lobby on rematch, but I mean that's okay. We'll take care of it after this game. Okay, Worst versus Niemi. I really like this dichotomy of characters as well. 2 very different kinds of archetypes. Potemkin is a grappler, wants to get close, Faust is capable of playing various different ranges, but probably more known for mid-range control, and especially when items are out, you can kind of just, yeah, exactly do this shit. Pollute the screen with all kinds of junk. Niemi was able to pick up the trumpet and get the pressure started. We are basically in Potemkin's win condition here. Mega Fist forward, White Miners, they're able to pop the armor through. Switch sides, we're gonna cash out. I think this does not kill, even though Faust is a Zero Guts character, which means even if you are low health, you are still gonna be taking basically maximum amount of damage. Ooh, utilizing the armor again. That's kind of one of the things that I know Niemi for. Going for those hammerfall breaks and trying to leverage the fact that, of course, initially the move is armored, and then if you break out of the hammerfall break also has like an instance of brief armor in there, which you can utilize if you're absolutely Gosu with your timing. The little guy does pose a threat here. Breaks Niemi's combo. With the use of hammer, switching sides as well. We shall be taking the more the side with more real estate and come and throw into the bomb explosion. Bombo, if you will. Ooh, crouching there, taking the counter hit. Oh my god, we're throwing items even though we are under fire. No fear whatsoever. The little guy is on board, so we are capable of pressing more buttons. This wouldn't be a desync, would it? This looks a little funky. Worst on their last hit point. Yeah, I wonder, the ending there looked like very, very strange kind of gameplay. And there have been like little stuttering back and forth, so I wonder if that was an actual round. But I guess the players would, you know and tell me if that was the case. Right? Because I thought towards the last round there, it kind of looked like Worst stopped playing for a moment, and usually in situations like that, it's like feels like it's very distinctive desync. Hopefully that is not the case here, and we're able to jump back and play this normally. Alright, I'm going to assume that that is 1-0. So players switching sides quickly here. Niemi in a 1-game lead here.
Duel 1.
Let's see how we can turn this around. Starting with the armor, however, those 5Ps very strong for Faust. Basically, he's 5-framer and able to... I guess that's like kind of the go-to way of trying to break Potemkin out of his armor. Is dangerous. You do need to get multiple hits in on a short frame kind of situation. Trying to go for the command grab when the mirror is still hitting the opponent. This will force a break, and on a Zero Guts character, that's gonna be a decisive slap. Starting with the hammer fall break once again, but Worst is smartly producing a lot of fast-hitting normals. Holding the momentum in the air with that love back so that the horde of little guys passes below you. Of course, picking up the trumpet is not only available for Faust, but also Faust's opponent. Oh, I think this will go straight into the explosion. Yes, indeed. The bomb ends up getting the wall break. Worst, unfortunately, didn't quite get the super out there. Jumping in with jump slash, not jump D this time around. But Worst looking definitely much better here. Yeah, that's another counterplay that you can have. Instead of trying to break the armor, you just wait it out, especially when Potemkin still has no meter resources to spend. it's a pretty decent RPS read to wait for hammer faults, wait for forward mega fists, wait for what's the other armor move? The heat tackle. Ooh, double nice combo. Trading it into too heavy. If this was a previous Guilty Gear game, both players would be really close to getting a stun here. But working in tandem with the little guy, Worst comes back with really fancy item plays. But that's why you are a Faust player. If you don't have good item luck, and especially if you don't have the know-how how to take advantage of your good item throws, why are you even a Faust player? So makes sense that nice crawl under the 6 heavy. Goose low profile enough. It's one of the buttons that you have to be very careful with, because Faust can go under them. I think the meteor was about to be thrown, but not registered quite so. So that item did not go off for Worst. Lighting up the Afro, going for a little cross up here, stealing the corner and then coming back. With this connect, yes indeed, before the 100-ton hammer or 100-ton weight or whatever it is, the huge press weight comes down. We are able to anti-air with a reversal super. Heavenly Potemkin busted, can't be in the air against that one. 2 afros, 3 afros, oh my god. Worst, how does your mom let you have so many afros? Or maybe that's exactly why, because afros aren't, I guess, not the most priority item that you would like to throw. Of course, it's nice to have it on the opponent or put it on yourself when you are at neutral, because throwing it is one way to guard crush them. Inhaling meteors, throwing it immediately. Opted to go for a neutral poke instead of the left-right mix-up immediately after. We have the hammer. Ooh, that was a gutsy play from Niemi. Woke up with the armor. Would have been in the danger zone of getting it broken. Throwing another hammer. Ooh, I wonder, wait, did the Gigantor actually break out the hammer? That was a cool combo. What is that? Basically an air juggle using the Gigantor. There's a guy on the field still, and yeah, there was a horde of Faust play, little Faust coming. There was meteors. There was, oh my god, that was an absolutely dreadful combination to try the counter play. And on Potemkin's side, I mean, if you are sure about the timing of the items, they are, I think all of them are considered projectiles as long as they have a hitbox. You can flick them, but the timing is very precarious, and that's a kind of like super high-level tech that you would expect the best Potemkin players in the world to have, but not necessarily Potemkins at this skill level. I mean, it's not to say that Potemkins at this skill level couldn't have that, but you just saying that you don't necessarily see that all that often. Right, finding a slight head, which does deal a little bit of damage. It is not just a way to knock the opponent down immediately. It does deal like how much damage is that? It's a little bit, and sometimes that little bit is enough to seal the deal. The trumpet is on board. Both players would love to get that. Nice spacing there, putting a 5k out so that Niemi won't be able to contest it. Big jump in, however, combo breaker is here. Little army is ready to fuck your shit up. Some non-consequential items until another little guy was thrown, and every one of those little guys is basically a combo breaker. If he turns around, yes indeed, holding the opponent in place, Afro lit as well, the horn from the trumpet, the teleport. Oh my god, how are you able to see all of this? I guess the answer is you don't. In a situation like that, you have to see everything that's happening in a sequence as well. It's like, what are the items that are being triggered, and what is Faust, the main body, doing? Yeah, could have potentially armored through this, but you just didn't have the health that time. How armor works in Guilty Gear games, you pay with your life when the opponent collides with your armor. So that's one of the reasons why Potemkin is some of the highest EHP characters in the game. He can really take the punishment, and he can sacrifice that potential one hit that the armor is gonna make him take. Mix. Good cancel there from the air hit, producing multiple hits and drilling through the armor. Has to respect here unless you have a good flick. First time we see the heat tackle, which is an armored move that can break them out of the sky. Buster! Is the Afro gonna expire? Yes, indeed. So it's gonna be smooth sailing here on out. I mean, would have loved to break the wall with a super to get the heart knocked down, but now worst. Ooh, that was a great choice there. Drifting forward and getting a 2K there before that blue Wild Assault goes active. If that was a white Wild Assault, the type that Potemkin used to have, I think it would have been able to break through. And here we go. An emergency mirror. If you poke into this, you are going down. Armoring through the 2K. Afro is on point, and I think won't actually be forced to pick it up. Avoiding it just by a couple of pixels. Meteors. Guard crushing in the air. That was a tough situation to deal with. Tried to go for an instant overhead with that jump K. And Afro. We see little guy, we see meteors, air dashing into a tough situation. We get the Buster, 5 heavy, catching the backdash. And what are you gonna do? Just crouch under the heat tackle, and that's gonna be a punish. One more hit, both players, careful with the trade, and able to cancel into 2 heavy. Worst. That is a very interesting situation because you connect it with your S button. If you go for a very slow cancel, or rather a slow Gatling route, such as the 2 heavy, you basically put yourself in a harm's way of Hammerfall just going off way too fast and your 2 heavy never going off. But from that spacing, Worst basically knew that was an okay cancel. That's why you play a far range such as that. If the S buttons collide with the armor, you have a potential. Oh, but hold on. That's a lot of happening here. Setting up the Gigantor, tap the 5D. That wasn't even tap. That was a full charge here. Would Worst burst? No, just opting to take the kill. Or tank the kill rather. Now, the good news is that Worst didn't get their burst baited and didn't have to burst into like a 0 health situation. And also having burst in this round here, the bad news is that you're down in rounds. So these are the kind of decisions that you have to make in the heat of the moment in Guilty Gear Strive. If we get the wall stick with the 5B, through the wall we go, starting with the 2P round start. Ooh, but the items coming in clutch. The multiple meteor hits, as well as, what's that, mix that Worst played there? Ooh, got caught by the Hammerfall break. Once again, breaking in front of the opponent. You do need to have the frame advantage, usually knock the opponent down if you want to make this real. But if they are too scared to press buttons doing your pressure, Hammerfall break into a classic stuff as Buster could be a thing for you. And finishing with a nice 1-2-3 from far away. Niemi maintaining a very small lead so far. Worst hanging on the tail end of that. Ooh, that's gonna be a close slash. And taking the proper punish as well. Love to see when people are not panicking in those punish situations and using their biggest combo starters. Ooh, hammering with the armor. Went for another Garuda. Worst was nowhere to be found on the ground. There we go, big Afro throw. Guaranteeing lots of plus frames. I wonder, was a little worried that Niemi would wake up with something. Which, I mean, he eventually did. But in the modern patches, you don't really necessarily have to be worried about Potemkin unless they have the 100 meter. Because you can no longer do the Hammerfall PRC only for 50 meter, which used to be like the go-to reversal option for Potemkin players. Nowadays, it costs you the full stick of butter, 100, if you wanna wake up guaranteed. Right, using the mix to pick up the horn, and then the RC to keep up the pressure. I think this explosion goes up a little bit too early, yeah. Afro is lit though. Oh, the Afro explosion could be a momentum breaker here. And the instant air dash upwards. Oh, we still got the hit. and basically a full conversion. Into the corner you go. Worst has 75 to play with. Dash in deep, 6p. Works out. Those 6ps are decent bets against Potemkin because a lot of Potemkin's pokes are pretty high profile. The far slash, the 5 heavy, and the like. You can definitely 6p those. 6 heavy as well, I believe. Ooh, got the counter hit, close slash. However, I wonder if the hammer actually screwed up the combo here and cut the... Ooh, what's happening here? Able to still get the combo, not letting Niemi press buttons on wake up. A little shimmy here. Can we pick up the horn or the trumpet? Yes, indeed. Trying to utilize the incoming horde of little Faust. Oh, but the meteor still went off. There's a lot of shit back and forth, enabling. Oh, we still get a hit. Oh, but wait, who's dead? Who's not? It was the little guy who got the last hit. This is just impossible to commentate. There's just so much junk on the screen. It ends up being the little guy who gets the hit. For a moment, I thought because Worst traded into the Gigantor that it was he who was about to go down. But instead, it was Giga Brain Reed. I think Worst was able to ascertain that we had so much more life than the opponent, and on those grounds, on those bases, was just aggressively pressing buttons. But speaking of aggressive here, Niemi turning it up and bringing it back immediately with 2p to break the armor here. However, the armor goes active this time. Alright, nice nifty cancel into mix. Lots of corner carry as well. Pouncing, or actually not pouncing Niemi into the... Ooh, well, a little bit too far here. And the Afro throw from a distance where Heavenly Potemkin Buster just can't quite break through. We are breaking through with the armor once again. Niemi, though, running dangerously low on life. Maybe it doesn't end up mattering. Cashing out here, dropping the opponent in the corner. We do have 50. We do have reversal super potentially available for Worst. But a nice angle on that jump in. Able to snipe the Worst before the barrage of items goes off. That was very important. If Worst ends up blocking the sequence here, I think it just lights out. Because all of those items are gonna go off, you're gonna take that chip damage, and then you're also gonna have to take the mix-up from Faust's close range pressure. Buster is what starts the fun here. Again, the crawl backwards, making the 5 heavy whiff. The 5 heavy is such a good far-reaching neutral button. It's so dangerous to whiff, so dangerous. Even if you don't crawl under, even if you just make it whip from full screen, many characters can just whiff punish it for free if they're vigilant. Speaking of which, yep, there's the whiff punish. But you do need to be at a particular range if you actually want something extra other than just far slash. Alright, items, a couple of hammers, so that will basically force Niemi to initially respect. Ooh, nice knife there. Even despite the bomb back was coming down, Niemi able to maneuver just below the opponent Faust and get the snipe with that heat tackle. Patient blocking. Oh, I thought it was gonna whip, but I think Worst just at the last possible moment extending themselves into that Buster. Nice blocking, nice punish as well. Throwing a couple of items, there's a lot of bombs. We'll have to respect them himself. Ooh, timing there on the heat tackle. Another good thing that Niemi has been pretty good with. Yeah, recognizes that heat tackle was gonna completely whip, so piercing out of it. Still, Worst, able to get the anti-air, the hammers. Oh no, the self-explosion, what was that? Was that the love bag? Or was there a bomb there on the background? Well, speaking of the bomb, is not a threat to put Niemi on the back pedal. We are waking up with the Buster, and that means for the first time in this set, Niemi has been able to build a buffer of 2 games. Now next game is gonna be super crucial for the future of this set. I've been able to put the fear in the opponent, starting up with, was that Was that a Karabuster? I think that was a Hammerfall Break Karabuster, looked like it. Ooh, a little bit of self-immolation here. Able to throw an item. Nice switch on the sides. This is a really good position for worst. As long as you don't get busted or wake up. Going in with a command grab and then into another one. Hoplan is having a lot of meter here. But Potemkin notably harder so for using it. Oh my goodness, we're still churning the Buster and finds a perfect time to do so as well. It is a decent other option in the modern patches as well because it has gained that armor that didn't used to be there for Potemkin players. Double jump. Not quite getting there. And there's a lot of junk in the way once again. Picking up the Afro. That's gonna prompt Worst to go on offensive, trying to land a hit on that extended hurt box. I mean, don't need an extended hurt box on that too heavy. That's just gonna be a clean whiff punish on reaction. Afro did expire in the background. Little guy goes off as well. And crouching under, however, that was an air hit, so a little bit extra juggle here. Hammer has expired. Meteor's coming through, comboing into it. Hot Potato is still on the board, gets self-exploded, but now has to respect the hammer, does block it in the air, but that means that you have to block pressure on the way down. And Worst manages to find a decisive 2k there to wrap up the round. This is so important for Worst. Another great hammer there. That's almost like a mix-up situation. If you make the opponent connect with meteors in the air, ooh, the burst comes up. That is a gold burst as well. However, the Gigantor holding Worst in the corner. We do have 100 meter though. Do we throw a lot of items? That's a lot of items. That's a lot of hammers as well. Bombs behind Niemi, forcing to block. I mean, that's actually not too bad of a situation here. Niemi ended up taking a little bit of damage, but able to clear that 100 meter damage super, or sorry, item super without taking too much damage and not being put in checkmate. Pretty okay. This looks like almost like a checkmate though. We connect the super. Is it enough though? This is very low damage super against Potemkin, who has one of the highest EHPs in the game, as we expected. Potemkin does survive that. Heavenly ends up whipping. We're still, oh yeah, patience, waiting for the punish. Give them the boot. And boys and girls and everything between, we are still in it to win it. Another game would once again secure the even 5-point position. Going to Buster from a little bit too far away. Good spacing there for Worst. Nice combo there into too heavy for Potemkin. Ooh, trading into it. That's gonna be a hard knockdown, especially on that counter hit. Busting makes me real good, and let's see how good we're gonna have the ender to be. I think that looks pretty optimal to me. Looks optimal to me, dog. Now one more hit. Any hit is good. Heavy button, maybe even an S button is gonna do it. Heck, maybe 2K might do it as well. Oh, the explosion into comboing into meteor. That's one of the longest item combos I've ever seen in Guilty Gear Strive. For there is a lot of gravity decay on the items in this version of Guilty Gear. Hoplan is really low on life. I think I saw the startup of Gigantor there. Didn't quite go up, finally. But the teleport. Oh, but we're sending it back and forth. I think that another teleport would have not been viable for Worst, because the Gigantor had basically switched positions where the teleport would have come out of. Even going for that, like the up teleport would have been a little precarious there. The Afro is lit. We got that. I think attempt to go for an F Shiki there. Landed the hit, but not the conversion. Into another one. Little guy is doing its best, but maybe screwing up the frame advantage on the wake up. Little guy, is that you? Did you just screw up the whole sequence? That Worst does have 100 meters, so we can definitely wake up if we need to. Tapping the 5D and a swift punishment from the heavens. The hammer comes down and seals the deal even before Niemi has a chance to say burst. Probably didn't want to burst there though. Okay, we got the little guy. Gets activated. Niemi not moving an inch out of that corner position. Nice backdash from the Buster. Tried to Buster there on the wake up. No, sir. We got Hammer coming. And now, hard knockdown. Worst is in a really nice position. Has a lot of resources here on top of this hard knockdown and positive bonus as well. So this could potentially be, yeah, just a checkmate. I think Niemi kind of knew that if they just stand there and take it, there is no waking up from this block string. Even if Faust is... how should we put this? Faust probably has the worst kind of close slash, being only -1, sorry, being -1 instead of being plus. And not necessarily known for his pressure overall, but just about any character in the game can do some nasty things with a lot of meter and a positive bonus. So Niemi kind of knew that they had to do something, trying to maybe Avare wake up with the 6B. Didn't pay off, no big deal. Going to the next game. Ooh, nice 2K anti-air there. Faust is such a cool character in that he has basically almost every single one of his normals is a potential anti-air, but you do have to pick the right tool for the job, because they have slightly different angles depending on the situation. Ooh, that's great. There is a gap there, and if the target is in the sky, we'll make them fly. Boom, break their neck. Worst has 100 meter there, spinning it all on prospective items. Lots of explosions, good guys, bad guys, and, you know, those aforementioned explosions. As far as the eye can see, we get a hammer, sorry, not hammer, trumpet, which Worst was able to pick up himself here. 6 heavy. The community has adopted a net play unblockable. Oh, this is so tough. There's a little guy, there's a bomb. Even if Worst ends up self-exploding, it's fine, because the chip damage threat is absolutely real. And turns have slowly started to table as Worst, from that down 2 games position, takes the lead here. Close slash, that's a very good counter hit starter. Able to get the snipe in with the heavy jump heavy before that armor went online. Do we get the kill with the setup? A safe jump. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that Niemi can do here, I think. 6 points Worst. Full throttle activated at the last possible moment, blazing past Niemi, and now has an opportunity to end it in favor of Team Faust here. Garuda, ooh, that was a very close near miss there on the Garuda. It's kind of like your best possible scenario if you can make the opponent so scared that they don't even contest your Garuda without frame advantage. But with the item, able to advance a little bit, golf club the banana towards Niemi. That ain't no good. Ooh, great anti-air once again, using that 2K, which has been, I think, the most successful anti-air button this set for Worst. Has been using a lot of them, though. Hard knockdown here. Expecting it to be just an instant air dash safe jump. Not that Niemi could do much anyway. And a nice snipe there. Worst, first set point position. Can we do it right here? Or does Niemi still have something to say about it? Sending the afro at the opponent. This is an extended hurt box that we can utilize. Even if the opponent is not on the ground, it still does play a part, I think, on an airborne opponent. Makes it even harder to whiff it, like with any sort of air button that you could be pressing. 50 meter here, trying to power through with the armor, but unfortunately, with that little health that we have left, it's no good. Collides with an item, collides with a hole-in-one, and that's gonna be it. Worst, sending multiple hits at Niemi's direction, preventing any sort of aggressive play from being enabled from the defensive position. With a very entertaining fashion, Worst once again sealing the deal just barely at the very end. Was down 2 games, but then ended up the set being up in 2 games. Very nice. Alright, Lamp and Lussu next. Oh, I should also keep an eye on HiWill's match, because that needs to be played as soon as possible. But we'll keep an eye on that and proceed with this one next. So Lamp, I think this is the first time we see Lamp on Unica, if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly check the data sheet. Pretty sure that Lamp has, for the most part, played Ramlethal so far on Bounty Hunters. Yeah, it's pretty much the case. So this is the first time that we get to see Lamp on a character other than that Ram. And I personally like Unica quite a bit. It's Unica is kind of like a spicy Kai, if you will. And Hellel knows I do love me some Kai, as well as, you know, Kisk family in general. Basically the the family of Ryus of this gaming franchise. Where Street Fighter characters have Tatsumaki, Guilty Gear Strive Shotos have a stun dipper, the sliding move forward. Basically every single one of the family members have that. Kai himself, of course, the prototype. Sin has a variation of it in Hellcunt, and then Unica has a very Kai-like function of that move as well. All right, let's see how this goes. So Lussu did say that this is a matchup that they are not the most fond of. And I think not very experienced in the matchup either. So let's, oh my god, from the Arbalest state, instead of sending the Fireball, Lamp opted up to go for the anti-air DP. So that kind of play style is very interesting. You can opt to assume the Arbalest stance even at neutral situations, and then try to check what the opponent is doing and picking up your empowered special move based on that. And if an opponent is coming from the skies, the DP is actually a very useful tool. Speaking of the devil, here we go with one. Sending it again. Yep, pushing the opponent so far away. The blue variant of the DP, the empowered variant, does send the opponent flying far away, even on block. So a very valid anti-air option. Not that the character doesn't have very good anti-air options already. 5P, 6P, 5 heavy, DP. Even 2 heavy, like this character, Unica has so many different kinds of anti-airs that you can work with. Ooh, and smack dapping them with the 6 heavy OTG, guaranteeing Lussu the first game here.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Starting with the instant air dash and going into the blue laser. It's one of the best pressure tools and one of the best Oki tools for Unica. That blue laser guard crushes the opponent, putting you at roughly, I forgot how plus it is. Going under the gun super as well with the 6P. Very nice movements there from Lamprella. However, needs to break out of this pressure position. Baiken is such a dangerous character when you manage to be point blank with the opponent. Especially with frame advantage, especially with this Kapari attach. Oh no, that's gonna be a lot of damage there. Resetting into a cross-up, into the gun ping pong combo. Misses it just by an inch. And misses the DP as well. Great punish for Lussu. So a lot of players who don't have experience against Unica, they do tend to struggle quite a bit with that DP, because it is sort of a it's a little bit of an unusual DP. whereas it doesn't take Unica airborne, and it hits multiple times, and it's a little bit of a knowledge check that you have to crouch under the second hit to be able to get like the best punish. In that situation, it completely ended up whiffing, and Lussu had a really nice dash forward into a close punish for it. Oh, nice interception straight into the gun. That actually combos. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen that starter before. Jump D into immediate gun combo. Was that a hit confirm from Lussu, or was that a wish confirm? That looks kind of difficult. I mean, it is a very like a burly hit, if you will. And counter it does give you a little bit of extra time to hit confirm, so potentially a hit confirm. Not getting a safe jump out of that one. Lamprella waking up with the 9-frame DP. We got that Kisk family. I mean, I guess Kai himself didn't have the 9-framer. He's actually one of the candidates for a slower DPs in the game, but still, Lussu from the defensive position sends up the gun super, and it ends up working out. Damn. Also with a lot of momentum here, with explosive conversions. Every single hit has been extremely relevant, whereas Lamp so far hasn't quite been able to get the engine started. Now, starting with the 5 heavy, Unica 5 heavy, which is one of the most common round start for this character. However, Baiken has the perfect counter tool against that 9-frame far slash, preventing Unica basically from playing the button that she would love to play the most. Ooh, missing with that drive by Yozan. 5 heavy, good trade for Lamp. And now, nice angle here with the jump back, late air dash, evading the tatami mat, and now sees the opponent coming in. Able to get the counter hit, blue DP in. Need to defend against this. This is plus frame on block if Lamprella manages to wiggle her way out of it. Unfortunately, the answer is no, can't do that. Ooh, the 2S actually goes online before Lussu manages to attach the Escabari. This is one of the most important things that you have to counter play from Baiken. If you let Baiken use the Escabari from pressure too often, yeah, your risk reward is gonna be generally pretty bad. Oh, that angle was so sexy. The jump slash, or is that jump heavy? I think it's jump heavy, right? Able to jump in so that it kind of looks like it still goes in the front, but it went in the back instead. Unica is a character that comes down from air really fast, just like Mei does. So that gives her some interesting mix of potential from certain kind of jump-ins. Again, not letting the Escapade to be attached. Ooh, oh, that was a super! I thought that was a throw for a moment. But sending the Megadeth Buster, punching Lussu out of the sky, and now looking for potentially one more hit. But however, the Escapade is attached. Lamprella says, I don't want to deal with that. Go for an air-to-air exchange. Boom! Lamp is on the board. Took a couple of games to warm up, but better late than never, especially since the opponent still hasn't run away with too much momentum so far. Also, howdy players from Shangbadang stream. Third matchup of the evening here. A Bike and Unica on the menu. Oh, with the cross-up again! You kind of have to know that there is a possibility for Unica to play it, and this time plays the front. I mean, but as far as Baiken is concerned, we can counterplay that left-right with a reversal parry. I think you still, like, if the parry goes on to the front side, you still counter, like, cross-up hitboxes, right? Big 5 heavy counter hit. Misses the combo. Still a decent amount of damage done. Trying to swipe the air with that 5 heavy on the Unica side. Bar slash ends up being an anti-air? Okay. Works for me, dog. With the drive by Yozan. Lamp pouncing in forward with that slide variant. Does the laser actually does not have time to activate. The gun super is already there. And now with the Kabari attached, we have a lot of rewards for every single hit. Plus frames. What do? Check in with the bar slash, and then frame trap into heavy kabari. It's the classic counterplay. If you can manually delay heavy kabari around to a window where the S kabari would usually get attached, you can kind of try to catch the opponent trying to mash. Taking the 6 heavy artless stance, not doing anything though, noticing that Lussu is already blazing past. Successful red DP. Can't quite get the anti-air against the instant air jump slash from Lussu, and here comes the mix-up potential. Disengaging, was probably expecting a DP there, which if you do have a standard DP, you can go for a DP FD option select on those left-rights, which you have like limited counterplay opportunities as Viken. This super should hit. Bam, bam. Is that gonna be a kill? Not quite. Living with a 1 hit point and a prayer, and a really nice read there. A la Street Fighter. They throw a fireball, jump over. Exactly like the doctor ordered. In that sort of way, Unica is sort of like a Street Fighter character. There isn't really like a, like similar to a... Oh, we get a... Damn, we got a first disconnection of the evening. Get me out of here. Are we stuck? Might lose this match here. Let's see. Is it this one? Here we go. Okay, I think the players didn't notice, so we are not losing any footage here. So we are gonna sandbag out of this match and then proceed as the scoreboard says, 4-1 in Lussu's favor. Yeah, Lussu is definitely one of those players who absolutely loves the pistol combos. I think it's like most of the time when I see Lussu get a hit, there's a really high chance it's gonna be combo into the super if you do have the resources. And I mean, it's cool, it's flashy, and it guarantees at least a decent amount of damage. I'm not sure if it's like if it's always gonna be the optimal choice, but rather burn the meter and do like guaranteed decent amount of damage with a combo that you've practiced than drop a harder combo is kind of like the old Chinese wisdom.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Might land from a slightly disadvantageous position, being down in score. Lussu getting out of the corner with that very high jump arc. Air dash Yozan, avoiding the DP from Lamp, pushing her through the wall, and now attaching the Kabari. And the OTG is enough. Nice presence of mind there.
Duel 2.
A good situation no matter how you look at it. The opponent is so low in life, you get one of your best mix-up opportunities, but you could also just OTG. And again, same deal here. The super jump air dash out of the corner, one of the classics to escape pressure in Guilty Gear Strive. Ping pong, slam to the other side. It's okay, we're close enough to the corner. Checking up the reaction times. Oh, went for a hard debate there, I think, with that jump cancel. The 5F still reaches. That was telekinetic. Finding the far slash, goes for the dash cancel this time. No combo. There's a lot of different kinds of options that you could play from your far slash slashes or 2 slash slashes. Oh, does this whiff? This doesn't hit the other side, right? Yeah. Waits patiently for the close slash punish. And then dropping the combo, goes for a safe Oki, finds the hit. That's exactly the kind of gameplay that we need here. No anti-air attempts here. Ended up missing the DP, so was probably thinking that, oh, I am in frame disadvantage, so better not press buttons here. Oh, I kind of like this. The dash under is one way to play the anti-air situation. Instead of committing to the grounded anti-air, you can kind of just run under and be done with it. Get the better position if the opponent ends up stealing the corner. Ooh, but speaking of stealing the corner here, Lussu, once again, the drive-by Yozan. Really hard to deal with unless you're specifically looking for it and waiting for the opponent to pass over your head, and then... I mean, depending on your character, you might need a specific button there. I mean, I think many characters can use their 6Ps, but the timing has to be on point. If you're just mashing 6P, it might end up actually going online way too early, or turning into a 5B. Once again, taking the plus frames, stealing the corner, steal plus frames, landing from the Yozan. I think for the most part in modern patches, it's always going to be a plus. And from that plus frame situation, misses the DK Yozan, comes down with a jump hit. You dirty, dirty, dirty misinputter. That's kind of one of the biggest heartbreakers when the Baiken players miss their perfect TK Yozan input and then still get to come down with a jump in button because the opponent is either a little bit too bamboozled or just not ready to react at that time. A great instant air dash once again beats the laser attempt from Lamp. Alright, the gun breaks the wall immediately. It is A-OK. If you are the Baiken player, of course. Plus frames. A positive bonus does yield quite a lot of resources. Setting up potentially one more one-touch situation. How much meter does Lussu have? Please, that was two gun supers and we were still on 50 tension. Guilty Gear Strive is a nutty game, I tell you that much. Ooh, nice little combo. And now positive bonus is on Lamp's side, sees the opponent air dashing, goes for the air throw, and that might have been in a window where where Lussu just can't take the throw. Kabari plus frames into. Tap them with the 5B, got the frame trap, find the kill, find the combo through the wall. Lamp does have 50 meter to defend with here. So let's see what we can muster. Respecting Lussu, reading correctly. Oh, that's a misfire, I think. And no meter to cancel it either, so Lamp is gonna get a close clash punish here. Lussu lacking the burst resources as well. Oh, wait, is that just a BNB combo, or was that a Kabari specific combo that Lamp had there? Guard Crush. Ooh, a little bit too far. Can't quite get the 2S to connect there. It's kind of dangerous trying to sort of struggle out of those Guard Crushes, though. It is like plus 10 or more. Is it plus 12? Plus 12 sounds kind of familiar territory. But the thing is, the blue laser also, like, from positions where you played as Unica player, from the spacings where you played as a Unica player, you tend to not be point blank with the opponent, so you often have to combine it with a micro dash or something similar. Granted, you do have a lot of frames to, you know, make the dash happen. But from a lot of those blue laser guard crush situations, you can't really expect to get to run like point blank close slash or anything like that. Might have to check them with a far slash instead or something similar. Now Lamp is definitely, oh my god, basically jailed into the air gun and then played a cross up on Lamp's landing frames. Help! Send help! Ooh, nice clash cancel there into far slash. Other players would let the DP just rock on the clash or just do another DP. Got a cross up, yes indeed, taking the burst as well. No, a little bit drop on the combo is... I wonder if they were worried about the opponent maybe having a burst there again. Now with the BNB combo, lots of corner carry, spending the wild assault. Nice, that should... No! Even with the highest damage hit without the super, the blue laser is kind of what you usually want to go for. Still not a kill on Lussu, but now... Nice XP. The anti-air department is definitely what you want to double down on Because Lussu is approaching very often from the sky, as you would expect from Viking players to do. I think this laser that you... Oh, okay, that works. I was about to say, you can send a laser here if you want to be really careful, but the bigger reward is to just not cancel, or rather not do anything from the Arbalest, let the super whiff, and just go for a blow/punish. So pop some lamp, recognizing that path. Now this is tough. Lamp has 100 meter to go. We can reversal super, reversal DP instead. If that misses, it would have been all ogre. Throw in the corner. Can we get it? We can super into... It should be enough, right? Yes, indeed. Negative Buster, the improved variant. Make sure that Lamp lives to fight one more day. At least.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, that was a nice choice of buttons there. 5 heavy from the sky into a big combo, often resulting in the opponent wanting to burst. I mean, that's like one of the most consistent high-hitting button that you're gonna face from Unica, so generally worth bursting. Ooh, catching them with the jump D again. The very unorthodox use of that jump D. I think there are many other buttons that are not quite as risky, but definitely the jump D is... It's such a meaty hit. It feels there's a lot of oomph in that. As well as is in this button, 5 big counter hit right from the get-go. Lamp working with the corner. Going for the heavy sequence there, sending the semi-safe fireball. The projectile that you can produce with your heavy buttons. Plus frames. What do? Check with the close slash and start the pressure. And sees the Yosa. Ooh, that's a very nice time to unleash the Megadeth Buster. And the laser is gonna be up. That was a chip kill. Yeah. I think that was just a checkmate unless you FD on Wake Up. Nice mash on the Kabari attach there. That's exactly the counterplay you want to go for. Holding the burst. Oh, Lamp reads the burst timing. Big plays when it counts the most. It's looking like Lamp has been able to wake up. Plus frames. Oh, that was actually a black beat combo there. So meaning you were guard crushed and we're not holding down back. Ah, damn, Lamp. Starting to make a comeback here of sorts. Anti-air with the far slash again. That's so dirty. It's not like... Baiken is really not a character who you close slash anti-air either, so a lot of those situations are not intentional. But I mean, since Unica comes down from her jump arc so fast, she might be a little bit more susceptible to like stray anti-air attempts such as like that that far slash. And now this is another set point position for Lussu. So Lamp will have to play it absolutely perfectly. Guard crush them, find the overhead. Unless we spent meter on that, or unless it's a counter hit, can't really convert. Into plus frames, dash cancel, more pressure, tapping them with a 5B. Stay in there. Betting the farm with that DP. The guard crush beam connects. And so does the OTG afterwards. Nice spacing, just waiting for the Yosen to land into a throw. Into. Set play plus frames, finding the overhead. This is a hard knockdown. Or I guess it's not really a hard knockdown, but like a soft knockdown that you can follow up with a close slash. Good snipe here. Lussu has the blue burst. Can they break the throw? No, they cannot. Lamp. This must have been the most dominant game so far. At this point, Lamp has absolutely sold it to me. The momentum shift has happened. Walking back. Lots of far slashes being whiffed, but no whiff punishes. But it is attached. So now we're fighting for our life to get out of the pressure situation. Dash cancel. When you go for like an SS button dash cancel like that, it is quite minus. But also it requires your opponent to react to your dash. Be pressing buttons if they want to take their turn. Nice shimmy here. Got the throw, and I think that's... Yeah, it's gonna be it. Just barely. Set point position Lussu once again. Just barely misses with that 5 heavy round start. Jumping forward, yep, the jump coming down so fast, a la May and Got Lewis, works wonders for Lamp that time. We have 50 meter in the tank as well. Missing the punish on the 2 heavy, unfortunately, but still with the pressure, looking for the burst. Lussu still doesn't burst. Lussu can actually keep on holding on to this burst if they really want to. Yozan connected too high up in the air. Rare footage of Yozansen actually being minus there on the landing. Or that might have been just slightly plus, but because Lussu went for a heavier button, Lamp was able to interrupt it with a throw. Lamp still alive or not. Kabari out of the corner into close slash. That's a big starter. Lamp will probably have to think about burst here. Won't be able to do so. Super just before the burst becomes available. So guaranteed damage has been done. Gold burst, not punishable. Mega Hit Buster gets clipped by the tatami. No way. To the other side we go. Fake cross up goes for a close slash instead. It's no good. Lamp, despite mounting the massively good-looking comeback, eventually has to succumb. That was like three games in a row or something like that. But Lussu had too much of a lead, and eventually you're gonna break the streak of the opponent. Lussu finishes it, crosses the finishing line with score 7-4. That was really valiant effort to bring it back. But unfortunately, the Unica win not manifesting this time around. Right, moving on to the heavier hitting matches of the evening. I think the rest of the 4 matchup slots that we have planned are relatively high level matches. We are talking about whatchamacallit, Vanquisher level players here. I mean, technically some of the players earlier were Vanquisher as well, but such as like Clamp, but playing on a sub character. Alright, Detada and Tomi next. A big body bout. Detada has always been showing up with the Bedman. Tomi, however, this is an interesting turn of events. We have, I think, never before seen Tomi on Potemkin before. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen Tomi on a character other than Zato before. Grok, is that correct? Is that true? For the sake of the story, I'm gonna say it is true. So the Finnish Zato Grandmaster now on Potemkin instead.
Mankind knew that.
I mean, it's like Tomi stole the Potemkin pick from ZoKHiZ, because ZoKHiZ gonna play Leo later tonight. Right, but 2 big bodies enter the ring. Who is gonna exit victorious? Super excited to see what skill level Potemkin we're talking about here for Tomi. Of course, being super good at the game does give you sort of the fundamentals to make transitions to other characters as well. Ooh, that was a clean IBFD, pushing Tomi completely out of the pressure position. Those are the kind of things that you would love to have as much as possible against a close range pressure character like Potemkin. Now looking for potentially the first error, which has been gained from the RC. Yeah, that's one way how you can sort of kickstart your pressure. Slam them in the face with your usually like a Beyblade or even a punishable on block special move. RC, gain the error, and then keep up the pressure. And it's gonna be super effective against a character like Potemkin, who doesn't really have the fastest like buttons for the. Doesn't really have like the sort of the reversal options that you're usually looking for when defending against Bedman. Of course, DPs are quite powerful against Bedman. Both players playing it very patiently. With 50 meter left to spend, Tomi comes down with a clash! And Detada canceling it. I blinked and I missed it. Didn't see what the cancel option was. Just a guard break here. Did have the error ready to roll, but I think the error missed as well. Reversal super. Should get out of the Garuda impact. Yes, indeed. Garuda impact has been quite severely nerfed in terms of its ability to go through reversal options from the opponent. Tends to either clash or just straight up lose to a lot of stuff nowadays. But I mean, maybe that is for the best. For it used to be like very kind of oppressive tools if you can just force the opponent into doing nothing but either block or deflect shield. I mean, speaking of deflect shield, I mean that as well. Deflect shield didn't used to be as strong against that as it is now. Wait, is that true? Well, anyway, Tomi on the pressure position, takes a tick 5B, goes for a frame trap this time. This time tried to go reach for the buster. But Detada had a really good timing on the Abare. Yo, we have the flick. Have to respect this flick. Shockwave coming back. Does nullify a little bit of the time of the install, but in the end, Detada does. Oh my goodness! Sending the air Beyblade and then canceling forward into a cross up. That was absolutely dirty. Doesn't manage to find the anti-air here on the opening gambit. Now Tomi from the guard crush. We all know the potent strike throw that Potemkin can produce. If you ever manage to make the opponent block that Garuda impact. Error, launching it, however, Tomi able to anti-air so up in the air that the bomb head actually does not manifest properly yet. Or maybe it did explode, but with the upper body invulnerabilities of 6P, we do go through. Ooh, nice bar slash. From very far distance, that's probably like the massive, like max range for Bedman's bar slash as well. Tapping in with a 5B, starting the pressure. No anti-airs for you this time. I think Detada was able to go so deep with that jump in that even if Tomi did time the 6B in there, Bedman probably was able to reach the toes of the opponent. Successful start for the round for Detada here, straight up in the corner and have the arrow rolling as well. That's probably a really good position to burst as well. Not only being comboed, but having a rolling error on the background, which is basically the party starter for Detada. Was managing to combo the error into a throw and a jump slash. I think this is gonna be super close. Should get the wall break, yes indeed. And it's gonna be another point for Detada here. This might be one of those characters who actually have a pretty okay match against Bedman due to how, you know, kind of the angles that the Bedman can play. And the difficulty, like the speed at which you can intercept the opponent. Ooh, that was kind of nice idea, but Tomi had the 6P ready to go here. As to RC, wow, this time Tomi actually managed to block the cross-up. One of those players who, after seeing the shenanigan once, after seeing the mix-up once, is able to play the correct option. Now, I bet you there is a front-side option as well that you can use to mix up with. Alright, tried to go for a hard read on the jump, whereas Detada just patiently unleashing the far slash instead. Got crush into nice jump out. And even from the backwards momentum jump out, you can connect with the jump slash, which has momentum, has a vacuuming property, guaranteeing that even if you jump out of a buster, you do get quite a big punish there. Install forcing a state shift. Install basically makes your all of your follow-ups to have the super property, so you can break the wall with those. Good footsies once again, forcing Tomi to go for the burst. Now can we break out of the corner? Tomi gets a guard crush. 6-day to catch them, pressing something. Buster looking for one more hit potentially. Wall break is a soft kind. Now let's see if we can work with this life lead that we have been able to build. Ooh, that was kind of clean. The RC there. I didn't see if the RC was of the red kind for Tomi or if that was a PRC. Nevertheless, able to chain up the sequence so that Detada does end up getting busted in the end of there. With the double jump in RPS, Potemkin is a classic, has the classic opportunity to go for either the jump slash immediately, or come down with a slightly delayed option, which is the jump D, forcing the opponent into a very tough RPS if they try to commit to a grounded anti-air. Got the throw, comboing it into the air. This will guarantee the wall break. And put you at the perfect distance to display that far slash. Get that throw. One more mix-up potentially ready to go. Misses completely with that 6 heavy, huh? Malfunction. Starts the error timer. Here it comes, able to chain the error into another malfunction, at which point Tomi says, no, I don't want to take that anymore. Get me out of Mr. Detada's wild ride. But the ride, unfortunately, does not end there. The double jump comes down with the jump D. Usually a situation that is a little dangerous to challenge, so you would much rather disengage if you have the opportunity to do so. Ooh, tackles them with the blue wild assault, nullifying the ongoing error. Big RPS win for Tomi. And forcing the wall break here with a heat knuckle. Once again, huge life advance for Tomi. Can we use that as a propellant to steal this off? Wait, was there a backdash during the buster? Something did make the buster whiff in the end. Yeah, once again, they had a good backdash there, escaping the meaty far slash. I think that was supposed to be a close slash, but ended up turning into a far slash in the end. Clean flick. Tomi has the matchup-specific RPS. Those are the kind of things that will make pressure for Bedman kind of dubious if you don't have tension to spend. Try to go for a double Garuda, but since the Garuda was not meaty, can jump out of it. Ooh, that was a nice juggle jump slash, vacuuming into a BMB combo. That's so dirty. I mean, Bedman is historically one of those characters who has a lot of stuff that can hold his momentum in the air, can come in from a very, different various angles, can hold your momentum in the air with the 8-way air dash. And then on top of that, has a repertoire of normals that can also stall your air momentum, such as the jump D, which is the classic, the old-fashioned bed press that you used to have as your special move in the past, but has now been allocated onto your Adiba. Great footsies once again. The jump slash finds its mark a little bit too far that time. Oh, nice side switch. Comboing the bomb head. Can we still get the wall break? Yes, indeed. Forced to go into a jump slash there, but ends up getting in the end. I think it's the most important point. I guess in that kind of situation, you just go for the wall break anyway. The positive bonus is such a big thing against Potemkin, and going back against neutral against Potemkin is a-okay for a character like this. Is that actually enough? That is! Great sequencing for Detada.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Alright, going for the strong hand method. Powering through with the armor. But you can only play that so many times at high level of play before your opponent starts adjusting and blocking those. And especially, you're like super vulnerable at round start if you play those hard raid armors. You never have the 50 meter to save yourself if the opponent just ends up respecting and blocking your armor move. This XP actually... Yo! Getting across up here towards the corner. Not quite the kill. I think the malfunction wall break does start an error rolling. One hit point and a dream. Can Tomi do it? Caught them backdashing. Or pressing something, I reckon, because that was a counter hit. In the end, though... Was that another backdash from Detada? Super good opportunity for Tomi to potentially close it out, but... It is the big RPS in the end. Detada guessing correctly and getting hugely rewarded for it as well. That's the thing, even if you are a grappler, those command grab whiffs are gonna be very costly, giving the opponent opportunity to get a counter hit starter. And for Bedman, like, counter hit jump slashes are pretty okay as well. We got the bait, we got the punish, and now we got the guard crush. Go for another one. Tomi has so many resources as well. Whips a Garuda into a buster. Absolutely rogue behavior, but it's the kind of shit that you have to use when you are the grappler. Eventually, you gotta cash out the respect that you've been able to build on the opponent. Right, we got an error ready to go. Can combo into it unless you... yeah, if you go for a special move, it usually resets your timer, right? That's gonna be a close slash punish. Great recognition for Detada. Sets up the bomb head, finds the hit, activates install. Any follow-up hit would take the wall immediately if it lands on a hit state. Tomi able to defend through all of that though. 50 meter to skip into the other side. Buster, need one more. Detada is rocking with the full blue burst here. So even if you do manage to get a big hit in, yep, immediate burst here. Powering through with armor, doesn't even have to RC it. YRC, the last saving grace. But Tomi, counter burning the resources. Holding Detada in the corner. The great spacing for Detada, baiting the 6P, and now it's Tomi who has to spend that blue burst. 50 more meter, that ain't gonna help if you're being comboed. Powering through! And had an opportunity to go for the RC there as well. Tomi not going down as so easily. Not quite yet.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Showing that there is still a lot of potential for adjustments in this set. Ooh, great snipe here. Hard knockdown secured from that heat tackle. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get the hit on the heat tackle or manage to land it on block. If the opponent is airborne, you are gonna be quite plus either way. Jump slash to ground them. Here comes Detada from a very, very vertical angle. Skip to the other side. Nice 5P anti-air for Tomi. Trying to set up some sort of a tick throw slash tick frame trap situation, or 5P tick into mix up between 5P tick and a 5P frame trap. Oh, gonna go for the buster, however, a little bit too far. And now the error that erupted as a punish there for Detada. Turning with the 5Bs round start. Big body 5Bs far reaching. Oh, skipping to the other side. Ah, that's good. That's a big punish. And getting a close slash starter as well. Put money in the bank. As we are moving to the other screen, we still have the remaining of the time left on the install super, forcing Tomi to basically be on the defensive path. FRC keeps up the pressure, going nice tech. Ah, but the backwards momentum jump slash once again. Very safe kind of maneuver. This is what a lot of characters love to do in Guilty Gear. Move backwards and use one of your better horizontal reaching air moves that have decent rewards as well, in order to bait the opponent into sort of moving onto your retreating hitbox. Ooh, got the hit. Bet the farm on that one. We're able to get the burst out of Detada. But now, a little bit of zoning here, using the spike and its follow-up. Tomi just goes for the meaty buster. Collides with something. Detada was trying to mash their way out of it. No dice this time around. 2P a little bit too slow for Potemkin side here, looks like. Great flick though. Landing a hit on that spike cancel. Spike cancel is very relevant as well because it's in modern patches is one of your go-to safest ways of ending your pressure strings, especially if you're gatling into too heavy as Bedman. There are only so many things that you can use to be safe out of that. So like spike cancel is one of the, yeah, there we go. Spike cancel is one of the only ways that you can use successfully. So then it's RPS between, is it like a timing RPS for the most part? I think so. And so far, Tomi has shown the capability of going for the, I guess the fastest possible spike cancels. It's a little hard to see, like, if you're not a Potemkin player, if you're not a Bedman player, whether there is timing RPS and variation happening at the moment. Oh, just snaps them with a 5 heavy. Get over, get out of the sky. We're done with that shit. But now Detada with the error rolling in the background, able to get a very nice hit here. And cashing out with a super. No activation on the install this time around. Leading into a universe where a simple throw is able to get the secure the round for Detada. Right, simple jump in. And the reason why you in the first place can have Potemkin just jumping at you and hitting you with a jump slash and not getting anti-aired, it's the threat of jump D. You have to leverage all the options and all the angles that Potemkin can play. If you're far enough from the Potemkin player, you don't necessarily have to worry about the double jump RPS, and then if you're still far away, then the jump D also is not in its active range. Good snipe once again with the heat tackle here. I think Tomi has been pretty accurate with that move. I mean, has whiffed it a couple of times, but I think positive hit rate on that tool so far. Right, forcing pressure with the 50. Detada, very nice defense though, able to break out, and now Tomi is gonna be dry for a moment unless there's some sort of very prompt wall break that would happen. This time it's Detada who burns the resources to guarantee this pressure, finds the far slash, however the 5 heavy, or I think there was a cancel into malfunction, ended up whipping. I reckon it's because Tomi ended up extending themselves forward, making the far slash from Bedman hit from a very, very far angle. Then the special cancel just ended up whipping altogether. A very common thing that happens when you're playing like telekinetic footsies from like absolute max range. And you absolutely will play max range against a character like Potemkin. It's almost like a given that you should abuse your character's max range if you do have something that can hit like further than Potemkin's like S buttons. Of course, Potemkin has the 5 heavy, which rivals many far range pokes in the game, but it has some downsides. It has some whip punishability. It has some risk that the opponent actually gets a full combo punish on you if you just end up whipping with that. Great jump slash once again. Able to secure a combo with the use of that error. Skip to the other side. Tomi is vigilant though. Got the anti-air, but the follow through was a little dubious. Can we get a hit here on the armor? No! Wait, why does that whip? Was Detada too high up in the sky? And now powering through with that Beyblade, ends up whipping a bar slash. Backdash paying dividends for Tomi. We're still not done yet. The outplay cup. Oh, that angle was so good for Detada. Skips a hop, missing the too heavy straight into the iron embrace of Potemkin's. Wall break. Can we break it? Yes, indeed. Tomi is so close to breaking even here. But can we? All the same, Detada might get this game and just run away with the lead. Great flick once again. Those pressure ending spikes haven't really been working out as of recent for Detada. Nice juggle combo into the heat tackle. Oh! We got it! We got it, ladies and gentlemen! Is that gonna be enough though? Bedman is one of the higher defensive modifier characters in the game, yet survives with around Buster amount of life left. Can't take the Buster though anymore. That would be an absolute nail in the coffin. Extend the pressure, vacuum the closer with the close slash. Good 6B. Transitioning into defensive play immediately as they recognize that the jump in hit ended up whiffing. Anybody's game still. Minus on the block on the white wild assault. Oh, he was praying to get that tension. Tomi was one tension away from canceling that, and that is... No, never mind, that's not gonna be it. Tough boy. Is that gonna reach? Nope, coming down with the cheeks. Successful. Panic goal first, ends up whipping, at least not punishable. Or I mean, it was punishable, but Detada, oh! Bounces forward with the power of wild assault. Oh my goodness, fighting for the last pixel to the tooth and nail, and we move to the universe. We proceed with the universe where Detada gets the win and is once again buffering 2 games of lead here. Tomi has to win 3 to bring this home for Team Finland. And Detada, Team Russia, looking mighty strong here for now. Ooh, it actually the flick ended up just counter poking Detada instead of flicking the bomb head back. Can you even flick the bomb head? I reckon it's possible, but the timing has to be perfect. Time to break the guard. Flick as a frame trap variant. Detada stays very patient on the defensive side though. Oh, you dare use the pressure ending spike, says Tomi, and casually flicks once again. 5B leading into nice combo. Anybody's game. Tomi has the superior position for now until Detada able to punish that armor move. And that should be it. No time for Tomi to burst out of that one. Set point Detada. Oh, we said Tomi just bet the farm, sending the Mega Fist at round start. Okay. Sending it again. This time Detada is ready to block though. Close slash starter, and now we have the error coming. Crush their guard, crush it again, send it. The flick hasn't been working out. Is that the result? The secret sauce? When we have an error available, we sort of accelerate and send the error instead of the spike. One more hit could be it. Is this how it ends? Tomi with the new character, forcing pressure, guard crush. The opponent does not press a button. We have the FD here. We indeed do. We get the punish as well. Tomi has an anti-air. Converting into the heat tackle, goes for the buster a little too early. Unfortunately, I think Detada wasn't backdashing there. That was just a plain good old early before the opponent comes down out of the throw protection frames, I reckon. Ooh, but that was a really close one, especially on that opportunity to bring it 5-5. And a very interesting style of Potemkin as well, very patient play. Like we know, I know a lot of Potemkin players, and I think everybody knows a lot of Potemkin players who just absolutely abuse the fact that this character is like so good at like scrambling, brawling, and having just better risk reward than you. But I guess partly because of the matchup as well, you have to play very patiently, very slow against Bedman. If Bedman is playing it very safe as well, ended up turning into a very interesting chess match kind of a game. Okay, next one is gonna be ZoKHiZ and Hoplan. Another Finnish mirror match here. The old man Zok, master of the Potemkin, is gonna be rocking one of the other characters. In case it's hard to pick up what character it is, it's actually Leo in that picture. Yeah, it's like what is happening there? What is even that move? Is that SDP? I think that's like early frames of like SDP from a very interesting angle. It's Alternate definitely picked an interesting snapshot there. It's kind of cool though. But yeah, so Hoplan. Is how to put if I summarize, Hoplan is absolutely dangerous case of a Nagoriyuki player. Has basically solidified his position in the Finnish fighting game scene, where you absolutely can and will get to top 8 on most events. As well as in the wake of that, you do manage to also take out a lot of top level players. I mean, Hoplan has been able to slay names such as like Shady in offline tournaments as of recent.
Change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame
So now, the absolute last old guard of Guilty Gear scene from our region. Some of the players who like who are even the players who were there during like XX times that still play Guilty Gear to this day. I can't think of anybody else than Zok at the moment. And Hoplan starting with a bang, getting a hit from right from the round start, spending a little blood and getting bursted. Ooh, okay, we're going for the normal throw. The delayed SDP here. Skipping to the other side with a jump D, and then stealing the corner back with that Berserker Slash. A very classic Leo special move. Reaction check. Is your opponent ready to... or rather, is your opponent awake? Is your opponent reading it? Is your opponent ready to press the button? But with the high blood, Hoplan able to find a couple of swipes with that 5 heavy. Oh, and a backwards Fukyo straight into a fast Beyblade cancel is what ends up beating the round start option from ZoKHiZ. And now, yep, no reason to take any sort of big risks here. Can't just swipe the Leo back onto the ground with close slash. And that guy Hoplan, so explosive. A perfect combination working together with Nagoriyuki. High-risk playstyle that Hoplan has been able to master, finding a 2S. Slight advantage on the startup when blood level is high, but now ZoKHiZ has Hoplan exactly where they wanted. Time to guess, asshole. High or low when the back turn is online. They got the fire slash whiff punish, but wasn't quite ready to follow through with it. Super jump. Yo. I think that was a great play from both players. ZoKHiZ opting to play a spacing where they knew the super jump wouldn't get there, so taking out the heavy sonic boom. But Hoplan also knew that the 5 heavy from Nagoriyuki can just punch through that sonic boom. Nice bait here, 6 heavy into nothing. That's a single 6 heavy, yet it does so much damage. ZoKHiZ staying pretty patient. Hasn't been able to check a couple of these Fukyo forwards. Oh, and another one! Damn! Oh, baby, a triple! It's kind of like one of the cruxes of Nagoriyuki pressure. When you see a Fukyo going online, you're kind of trying to leverage between whether it is a forward Fukyo or a backward Fukyo, and if you think it's forward, you have to check it lest Nagoriyuki is just gonna steal pressure, get like close slash, get a throw, get a bite, and you're gonna be sad afterwards. Let's see how sad Hoplan is gonna be here with 75 meter and a hard knockdown. Opts to use the last of deflect shield instead of committing to the wire C. Understandable, although ZoKHiZ had a really nice read there as well, sending the S Sonic Boom and clipping Hoplan with just enough damage to seal out the deal. Ooh, managed to hit with the Blood Burner. ZoKHiZ on top of the game. Would much rather, I think most characters would much rather burst Nago back into the neutral with high blood rather than burst immediately and save themselves from a little bit of damage. The nice RC comp. Ooh, unfortunately, I think ZoKHiZ didn't want to get that side switch, but hey. Oh, can we parry here? Back turn D, boom, shakalaka. Into the corner, juggle them with the back turn super. Excellent. You would think that Leo is in a bad position in for like reversals like that, which is kind of true. If you are in back turn, reversal DPs are hard to deal with because like they don't have a flash. But reversal supers, if you respect them, you can just post flash, press your D button, and counter them. Hoplan really close to popping. It is gonna be a pop. If we can get 5P, yes indeed. Into a high damage kill. That's the cool stuff. That's the absolutely disgusting and cool stuff that you can do on this character if you sequence your combos correctly. 6 low slash into 6K, finding a hit and then some. That's a dangerous whiff. Now, on the other hand, if you don't sequence your combos correctly, I mean, ZoKHiZ didn't either, apparently. Dropping the combo there. Could have maybe had a kill with a super, but now Hoplan is gonna have a fresh blood bar to spend. Beyblade on airborne opponent. Ooh, unleashes super right away. Hoplan had a really great read here, and 6 heavy prevents ZoKHiZ from even utilizing that super, or sorry, that burst. In this kind of situation where you know the opponent has a burst, you either go for a throw or you go your hardest hitting single hit, which in this case would absolutely be the 6 heavy from Nagoriyuki, or just going straight into the super. All of those options are fairly good. Nice, reacting to the Berserker slash. Super jump, can't quite get enough momentum on that, so we'll come down. Ooh. You had to go for a PRC option select there. Whiffing that too heavy is too dangerous. The cross up! Are you kidding me, Hoplan? Chill! That is so dirty. I don't think you can even, like, per se set that up consistently. You kind of have to pray that the dominoes fall into place and the opponent is at a perfect spacing as well. Very close to popping. Hoplan can't quite spend any relevant blood before you get some heavy hits in. That's one way to get some. And the blood-sucking universe, 6 heavy into. Misses the follow-up combo. But now Hoplan is with a clean blood bar. Wasn't it like a couple of seconds ago where Hoplan was basically full on blood? Oh, that's really nice. Not quite the kill. but chip kill is available. ZoKHiZ wings a big weapon X, probably because there is an opportunity for Nagoriyuki to kind of space you out with a meaty 5 heavy that has a lot of disjoint. But if you have a forward-moving reversal super such as the weapon X from Leo, you can kind of try to RPS it. But that line Hoplan was definitely on the same Yomi layer. Okay, drop him with the far slash. Some blood coming back. This time ZoKHiZ has a counter to the forward Fukyo. But I mean, I think the best, the go-to counter usually ends up being one of your fastest poking normals. If you jump out, you're still in a danger zone. Ooh, clean air throw. And those air throws are an aspect of Hoplan's game that he has been working on recently. I think one of the aspects that Hoplan used to not be that good at, but has been getting like steadily super strong at. Ooh, colliding with the armor of the parry stance. ZoKHiZ has to somehow find a way to end this. Close slash trades into whatever button that was from Nagoriyuki. This is dangerous. We can super here. Even better. Oh, but the meter is king! Meter is king! As ZoKHiZ gets a close slash out of the sky. Hoplan recognizes the frame. There is still a burst to be had. Checkpoint! Checkpoint checkmate! With a classic samurai mix. I mean, in this kind of situation, it's not even the samurai mix anymore. You're kind of playing that as like a chip kill variant that if you fail to block the overhead correctly, you also get tapped out of the game. It's basically where the old samurai mix is still relevant, one of the few situations. And they air them out of the sky with a 5k. That was a good jump. Okay, even after that trade, ZoKHiZ can't be too sad about that trade. Getting out of the corner, getting out of the danger zone, and now double jump. Skip to the other side, leg of the king, aka the jump K. ZoKHiZ has a chance here. We got the throw, but also Hoplan has a reversal opportunities left and right. Oh, what a read! That's gonna break the wall and get the kill. Are these the kind of hard reads that we absolutely have to commit to slay this young genius Hoplan? Ooh, that's a high blood burner. Hoplan sequenced it incorrectly. ZoKHiZ doesn't know this, unfortunately. There was a lot of blood burners in that combo. That was basically a Hotashi sequence, and if you realize that they drop in that kind of situation, you can just back off and let them pop for, like, on their own in the corner. Okay, even if we missed it, even if we blinked and missed it, ZoKHiZ still getting that win. And making sure that Hoplan doesn't run away with too much too early. Ooh, the most common round start option in Guilty Gear Strive. Micro walk back and far slash into that whiffed button. It's kind of like, or it used to be kind of dangerous against Nagoriyuki, because Nago could just send a Beyblade round start and catch you walking backwards. But now, because the Beyblade is no longer a low, okay, was that a good burst? I think that was a great burst. One blood away from pop. ZoKHiZ has a kill though. Boom shakalaka. Never mind. Even on level 3, that was not enough. That was a punishable position. Recognizes that ZoKHiZ was backdashing. Oh my god, is he gonna steal it back? Those blood-sucking universes also stealing some amount of life. YRC works out. 6B. ZoKHiZ was luckily not pressing any button there. Far slash is gonna be a kill. No way. No way. Hoplan stole it. There we go. Back Fukyo. Ooh. Are we popping? Not quite. One blood away once again. Perfect math. Committed to the throw. So now Hoplan has been able to weed out the blue burst. That was a hard ass read. Micro dash forward with the back turn. Hoplan had the very late option select there. The delayed DP once again catching Hoplan trying to go for a very delayed meaty. There we go, jumping out of the throw. Could be anybody's game still. I think this does not kill. Back turn stance, can you react? ZoKHiZ thinks otherwise from... Oh, nice! The 2D miss into recover. Recognizes that Hoplan has been locked in place into that super jump and just 5Ps them out of the air. Great play from old man Zok. Right, but we're sending the Beyblade. Switching sides. A lot of blood burn on that, but definitely an amount of resources that you will pay 10 times out of 10, I would say. Again, Hoplan, I think it's like a risk reward calculation between are you gonna PRC immediately as an option select, like a true option select, or are you gonna try to react that the opponent is jumping out of your throw and try to still save it. Should be a kill with the 6 heavy, right? Yeah. And I mean, if you're not quite ready to kill with one touch, then you would, if possible, you would love to save that meter instead of just hard committing to the strongest possible throw PRC option select. The 6B on point once again. Approaching couple steps with the parry stance, thinks better of it and disables. Nago does have some very far-reaching lows, namely that 2S. Oh, blood burner into 5B and a baseball bat. Boom! Home run! It's so beautiful when it ends up working out. Yeah, there's the Beyblade not being low anymore. Working against Hoplan in the RPS scenario where you're trying to fight against the guard point stance of Leo's. I think not a single Berserker slash has sunk in yet. Oh, I say that, but we immediately go into another one. Yeah, ZoKHiZ is the kind of player that definitely does not believe unless you show it like 5 or 6 times in a row. And then, even then, he might still go back to that layer of RPS later if he thinks that you have forgotten about it. That's why the Berserker slash layer will probably never be obsolete in this matchup, even though Hoplan has been like fairly accurate throwing those Berserker slashes. Once again, the backwards Fukyo into Beyblade works wonders. Pop goes the Weasel. I think ZoKHiZ noticed this time. Glow slash starter. That's big. That's big. But not big enough. Tried to break the wall with what's it? Siegesparade. Or is that Blitzschlag? I forgot which one is which. I think Blitzschlag is the grounded one. In fact, Siegesparade doesn't even exist in, or wait. I can't remember. I'm mixing myself up. Either way, ZoKHiZ is still alive and has potentially a reversal super available. Hoplan played it really safe. Backwards Fukyo into disjointed 6 heavy. RC sending the jump deep, prompting Hoplan to spend the burst immediately. Now ZoKHiZ though has no opportunity to spend with that small amount of life that you have left. You either go for a gold burst, deflect shield, or just save it till the regionals. Okay, we still get the punish there with the SDP, but hey, a hit is a hit. Double jump and coming down from a really nice angle to catch them with the jump heavy. Now ZoKHiZ decent lead, tried to go for a safe jab or maybe frame kill. Resources coming back from Hoplan, waiting for reversal maybe here. ZoKHiZ is not quite dead yet, and in fact has all the relevant resources, full burst, full tension, moving on to the next screen, but cannot guess incorrectly. If something, you would much rather guess with your meter first, I guess, because then you still have the burst ready to go. Hoplan might get the burst back here. No, never mind. Sequencing it perfectly so that there is no burst RPS. Take the win and run with it. It was a great timing there on the... Was that a 5 heavy or power slash? I think it was 5 heavy that time. Okay, that was a lot of blood burned by Hoplan, but able to secure it with the blood-sucking universe. Frame trap into DP, and this is a big blood burner. Boom, another one. Almost a kill. But ZoKHiZ is up around, so you can technically save your burst here, which is what ZoKHiZ ends up doing.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
Dash jump forward. Hoplan is ready to go for that 5p anti-air. Much better than the 6p in terms of rewards. Speaking of rewards, oh, how much blood was this? Not quite enough to pop. And Hoplan coming down with the jump heavy, and again putting ZoKHiZ in a very uncomfortable position. Has deflect shield and reversal super available. I mean, as well as the SDP. Tried to play I think was trying to enforce a layer where basically saying, okay, I have a reversal ready to go here. You respect me, I press a button. But Hoplan was, nah dog, close slash. I think that's like the purest form of RPS in fighting games. An ultimate game of chicken. Is he gonna? Is he not gonna? Oh shit, he did. But man, that guy Hoplan is absolutely crazy. And if this, like, I wonder how much, like, easy progress there is still to be sort of achieved for Hoplan, because he's been progressing even at this top level. He's been steadily getting better and better. And I mean, it makes sense because he's being coached by Shady as well. I think a lot of, like, unless you've been, there's like a rule in the Finnish offline scene. If you haven't been coached by Shady, I think you have no chance of getting the trophy, right? And Hoplan is definitely one of those who have recently gained the blessing, the wise words of the Grandmaster, and are now fighting for some of the toughest, or some of the hardest to achieve positions in both offline and online. But yeah, damn. Okay. Next one, we got monnter coming back for the second time on Bounty Hunters. Opponent being Emu tonight. Actually, did we have or I'm trying to figure out if like what the sequencing here is. Did we have word from HiWill? Give me a second to parse the chat. So Will is home. Oh, doesn't change anything. So we're can play the 6th? Okay, so, okay. If that's the case, then we can just proceed as per the schedule here. I mean, we can definitely, because I think monnter and Emu are completely okay playing in the number 6 slot, so I think playing earlier is more important for the, like, for the Nepal versus HiWill pair, right? Yeah, as far as I can understand, we are playing this one first. So the one shown on the screen, which is monnter versus Emu. I mean, I'm okay either way. Give me a second, trying to as we're waiting for monnter, we can try to make sure that this sequence is good for everybody. Oof, I'm sweating. It's been some, definitely some sweat-inducing games tonight. It's getting sweatier and sweatier as we're progressing towards the end. All right, we do have monnter ready to go. And I think the last word is that we are going to proceed per schedule. Hope that works out for everybody. Sorry, I'm when I'm on the microphone, it's usually it's a little hard to keep track of all things being said in the chat. So if there's like last minute variations, I might miss it if I'm not careful. Anyway, so it looks like it's gonna be monnter's Elfelt versus Emu's Chip. So high mobility gameplay. Chip being, of course, the traditional speedster, whereas Elfelt is like, for her dash acceleration, you have slightly fast. I think it's her acceleration that's the good part. So you have like above average dash, which you can use to sort of compensate for your neutral buttons not necessarily being as far-reaching as some other equivalent characters. Like, don't get me wrong, Elfelt does have pretty decently far-reaching normals, but they're not quite like Kai level, they're not quite like Sin level. So she is the kind of character who has to utilize her, or has to compensate with her mobility usually to combine with her buttons if you want to play neutral. And of course, she has like special moves that can alter her state of being, such as I guess the biggest one being the Pine Berry, which does put you immediately airborne. And depending on your opponent's grounded anti-airs, some characters just cannot anti-air on the ground, period. So you'd have to go air to air, or I guess the Gosus will try to air throw it on reaction. That is kind of like the recommended counterplay if you can if you can master those reactions. Oh, what's a swing and a miss on the DP. However, monnter was going for that aforementioned Pineberry, which put him in a position where the punish was no longer possible. Got the block on the burst, but not the punish. And here comes the mix-up game of Elfelt Valentine. She just has so many ways of mixing you up. You can go into your Pineberry, which is like an instant pressure reset, or can be played as a left-right. Then you have your Rekka stance, which is basically a high throw low. And what else? She can play cross-up situations with her like air buttons as well, even without the Pineberry. Right, Imu's missed the close slash, unfortunately, and monnter will not spare the 1 hit point left. I mean, this is a perfect comeback hit point amount for Chip. You're usually gonna die for taking a hit anyway as Chip if you have like somewhere between 1% and 50% life, so it doesn't matter that much. I mean, it's an unfortunate, sad state of being that you can die from like stray 2P that is not even hit confirmed, but I mean, those are not super rare, are they? Nice hit confirm into the Kara super. Playing the Street Fighter game plan. Basically, after your Rekka 1 and sometimes in Rekka 2, you can play the situation like, look at what Imu is doing. It is kind of like a very Street Fighter-like spacing trap. If your opponent tries to utilize their frame advantage, because like you, even after Rekka 1, you are minus as Chip. If they try to take their turn, great spacing here. Getting a whiff punish on that Bridal Express with a 2K. monnter forced to burst here, and a counter hit Imu as well. However, favoring the position this time for Imu, pushes monnter into the corner. Ooh, just hops out of there like a psycho, utilizing the grenade. I mean, it is a command jump of sorts. And then the bomb belt mix-up. If you get hit during that bomb belt, it basically pops up the opponent into the combo. Can't block here. Yeah, gets there's actually blasted by the the grenade on the ground. Alright, missing the combo, but happy little accidents and all that. Get the 50 meter just in time to break the wall with a super, and now this character Chip is pretty good with the positive bonus loops. Combined with that fact is that this character Elfelt is not great at reversaling out of pressure. Dash in 6P, that certainly calls out the Bridal Express. I don't even remember the special moves of Elfelt's Elfelt specials in this game. Doesn't the whole community just call them the Exert variants still? Those are way more easier to remember. Would we burst here? monnter certainly thought so, but Imu not quite ready to go for it. There we go. Able to get value for that burst. monnter goes for an aggressive one. That's kind of like the very meta. If you are the first person to use the burst and you still can't get out of the corner immediately, then there's always an opportunity for the opponent to counter burst you and put you back into that uncomfortable situation. Like who breaks first? I cut the backdash with a shot. Oh, just another deep dash in 6P. Both players have utilized that quite a bit. Mix up, is the corner available, or rather, is the corner still available? Unsure, but the fact of the matter is that Imu did get mixed up there, and with that little amount of life left, monnter smack dabs another win on his account.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Trying to go air to air right from the get-go, but monnter is a little bit too far with that fireball. Definitely not definitely not plus on that spacing with the Bridal Express. If you space it perfectly, can be plus, but it's a little difficult. Now Imu's pressure. Can get the wall break here. Not quite the resources to make the hard knockdown happen. There we go. That's kind of. I think that's the air to air that Imu has been looking for. If monnter jumps forward, it should get intercepted by the fast jump K of Chips. And if it goes for the Pineberry, then yep, that dies as well. Mix up, goes to the other side of the tightrope. These are the new. I mean, you did have already like existing left-right mix-ups before the tightrope, but they've gotten so much better. The rewards as well when you have the tightrope available and utilized, able to go into those wall cling normals that deal quite a lot of damage compared to Chip's other kit. Alright, YRC out of the pressure. Finding the overhead with the Rekka 3, and can we get the kill before monnter gets the resources back? Utilizes or uses them for deflect shield instead. However, Imu's burst completely nullified. Where does the Rekka go? Where'd the bunny girl go? Oh, look at that. Footsies with the 5 heavy once again. There are just so many good buttons that this character can press. Far slash, very great. 5 heavy, that Imu just used. Excellent. 2D? Basically low invulnerable in this patch. Yeah, they're... If you want to play footsies, this is definitely the character for you. Especially if you want to play footsies like in an aggressive manner. Like, I dash in and press my good buttons kind of footsies. Or then I backpedal and reaction whiff punish your slow buttons kind of footsies works out for a Chip as well. Not necessarily the Kai kind of footsies where you're like, okay, I press my big button and you can't dash in. Ooh, clean spacing there. And I think the backdash there at the end of the sequence was required as well in order to make the Pineberry completely whiff. DP works out, however, monnter! Oh, with the clean reads! Bridal Express does stick Imu to the wall, and now all we have is 75 and a dream. Tap out of the sky, however, very little damage cashed in from that sequence. Monnter maintaining the lead for now, just a little bit.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, let's see if we still have the counter adjustment to still make it back. Often enough, like, you don't necessarily even have to have an adjust. Oh, wait a second. Pineberry into a button. Ended up catching Imu's backdash this time. Timing is ever so important. Same side mix-up. Initially, it was defended by monnter, but then caught up on the way out. And look at that, so much damage when the tightrope is enabled. That move has really solidified, like, it's not like Chip wasn't already solidified as a really strong character, but after getting the new move tightrope is like definitely tournament winning material in this day and age meta. And the block string safely with that gunshot, which is ever so important against DP users. Although Chip's DP is one of those ones that can't really reach horizontally that far, that's actually ends up being enough. Starting with a shot, Imu. Also comfortable just enabling the tightrope if the opponent gives you too much space. That's kind of a cool thing that you have some things like you have summoning things that you can do to get some extra extra advantage if the opponent plays too passive. There we go, slapping super at the end there, equalizing the life situation. monnter does have a reversal available. Nice bait, I think. Imu did not press the button here. And then from the close slash punish, baits the burst as well. It was kind of destined to happen. But of course, if you are a strong player, you recognize that that is the way it has to go. At the same time, you could argue, it's not the biggest read, but hey, weaker players sometimes forget to make the read. Forget to make the move that gets them the guaranteed win. Let's get to the other side using the grenade. DP against the Rekka initiator. That's the thing, if you're fighting against DP characters, you basically can never safely go into the Rekka sequence. Even from your highest deck level moves, which are like 5 heavy and 6 heavy, there is always still a front 1 frame gap. Which means that if the opponent is churning, they can RPS to get away. Oh, still, that's so nice. Imu, with those backdashes, maintaining a position where monnter, even if it was moving forward in the air, was not able to skip past Imu's guard. Maintain the posture, maintain the area of influence. Don't let the opponent get out of the corner. Even if you're not point blank with the opponent, even if you're not at close range distance, it doesn't mean that your pressure is over. monnter finding a successful burst after the good burst bait from Imu. Double jump, triple jump, into nothing. Oh my god, the respect. Goes under the shot with the 6P. The ricochet would have come back, I think, even if Imu didn't get the hit. To the other side, and bam, it's Imu's advantage. Two games in a row. Let's see if monnter has it in him to play the same one once again. Look at this, the round start spacing is so good. Initially, Imu was trying to commit to like very dangerous things like going preemptively air-to-air with jump K, but now kind of opting to play the spacing game a little bit more, saying basically like, okay, if you commit to your damn grenade, you're just gonna miss completely because I'm standing at a perfect spacing where it all is gonna whiff. Oh, the reset there into Bunky Mess side. He should build monnter either the deflect shield or the reversal super opportunity, but also chip. Oh, wait. Everything's going well until it wasn't. monnter got a really nice bait here, but I think dropped the punishing combo, allowing Imu to get out and then steal the round back. And I mean, it's a no mercy kind of Wild West here. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to show any mercy on the opponent. Little wall once again. Imu with almost full life bar. Although in this matchup we know if Elfeld manages to get her game plan going, you could potentially be looking at a like one combo into mix with a bomb west, two touch kind of a situation. Why Imu is sprinting, Imu is slicing and dicing, and with punishing, and once again walking back on round start. This time monnter doesn't go for the bind berry, plays it a little more safer. The ricochet shot gives decent amount of frame advantage. Moving forward is usually preferable. Oh, that was a cool ricochet. Wasn't quite able to combo that even though that landed as a hit. And now bomb bell through the wall. Guess for your life. Here it comes. Initiating with the Rekka S on Meaty. Oh, into the bomb belt again. Okay. And then the late air dash back as an overhead option ends up mixing up Emu. Ooh, this time monnter is the one having the great spacing and the backdash against the impending air dash from the opponent. Rekka 3 managed to get a soft knockdown and persevere, maintain the pressure. Reversal is available. Oh, that must have been a misinput. I think neutral jump heavy is not what the doctor ordered there. Nevertheless, able to maintain the pressure and take it to the last round once again. Goes for a hard bait. Emu not quite ready to burst. We can extract some value from your hard baits before actually going for it. There was a fire slash, unfortunately. Would have loved to pick up with a close slash. Into an empty low, 2K2D. And the shimmy here. And this time it's gonna be the throw. It's mental warfare at its best. When you see a shimmy, would you ever go for a throw? Like a fuzzy throw again? A lot of players would say no, and that's exactly the reason why monnter went for the throw to seal the deal there. Alright, not done so deal just quite yet. monnter is trying to make the comeback, even though Emu got a momentary like 2-game lead. Back throw. Lots of things that can happen here, starting with the claw plus frames into the overhead. Very hard to react to. And even harder to basically counterplay, because a lot of chip players will just send that overhead and a RC afterwards. Speaking of RC, can we do that here? Oh, doesn't even have to get an FD cancel. It kind of looked like Emu committed to something. But if it was the startup frames, you can and do and should FD cancel stuff on their first startup frames in Guilty Gear Strive if you can. You get the spacing game RPS once again. Trying to get into the spacing where... goes for the hard bait again, but Emu... I mean, in the end, the opponent did have the burst, so as long as you didn't spend your tension resources for making that burst happen, then you haven't lost too much if you go for like a burst bait like that. That was very interesting. Wait, did monnter mean to play a deflect shield there? But I think they might have gotten crossed up by Emu, which caused the orange wild assault to come out. Is that what I saw? Ooh, nice interception there on the 2 heavy. We got the first Genrozan, putting the throw options on the table. Ooh, great check here. Sweeping to the other side, waiting for the burst again. Emu able to extract a little bit of extra. Whoa, waking up with Zanzeiroga. Okay. The true reversal. Basically mean that I could wake up with my 9-frame DP here. But that wouldn't kill the opponent. Let me wake up with Zanzeiroga instead, which does considerably more damage. And if my guess is correct, well, we got the game right there. Set point Emu, by the way. The late air backdash once again. Hits as an overhead option. What's the mix-up here? Left, right, the initiate, waiting for the DP. The cool thing, that's another really cool thing. You don't necessarily even need to commit to the mix-up. Because if you do, the opponent does get an opportunity to intercept you and nullify their bomb belt. Like, for example, if they go for a throw. Oh, that was perfect spacing. That must have been a plus on block Bridal Express. The infamous one. Backdash shimmy once again. This time, finally! monnter has been hunting for the immediate first for so many times already, and finally getting it out of Emu. But is it gonna be enough? It looks like it is gonna be enough for this game at least. monnter closing in, but Emu is already there. We need 2, whereas the opponent needs 1.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
With a nice ricochet shot to start things up. It's especially like when you put yourself so high up. Oh, you get that's a very old kind of Oki setup, but it checks out. You can shoot your ricochet shot out of the screen, and if they go for a DP, it does come back and attack them from behind. Does have some like vulnerabilities, although I don't know what those are exactly. I think the downside is that the mix-up you're gonna be getting is not that it's not a mix-up at all. So like you forego like a clean Oki mix-up for just like if they block you just get close flash pressure. One belt is on. Oh, explosion! I think that's gonna be enough. Well, that must have been the fastest game so far. And just like that, we are in a Mexican standoff. Wait, can you have a Mexican standoff with just 2 players? Is 3 people requirement for a Mexican standoff? Anyway, so close. Yet so far, 1 more game to make it happen. Who's gonna be the champion tonight in our matchup slot number 6? Yeah, banging very safely now. Emu opting to hang out at a very safe spacing, looking for potential whiffs. Oh, and then pounces forward with the 5 heavy counter hit and everything. No meter here, so can't go for the Karabanki Messai just yet. DP, yep. That shot, sure as hell, ricochets back against the DP. Steals the corner, steals it back. Good box on Emu's side still. Oh, I like that. Deep dash forward and catching them on the landing frames with that 2K2D. We have so many angles here, but it ends up being the Pineberry. Emu falls straight into it. Bomb belt does explode, tried to go for the throne, but nobody was home that time. Set point monnter. Ooh, double it up from a second Rekka overhead into no cancel. Yeah, that's definitely a layer that I haven't seen very often from Elfeld players. Oh, that late air dash, catching the throw, and is that gonna be it? Not quite. Japanese guts, guaranteeing 1 hit for Emu. But now, can't be touched by even a projectile. Drilling down with a jump 2K. Deflection works out, but runs straight into the explosion radius. That Pineberry does leave a grenade on the ground, where the main body goes airborne. Has no hitbox. Or I mean, has a hurt box, doesn't have a hitbox, but the hitbox manifests on the ground. It's gonna be monnter stealing it back at the last possible moment. What a nail biter. What a nail biter. All right, 1 more left. 1 more to rule all of the bounty hunters in 2025. The last bounty hunters set of the year. It's gonna be some of our most regular players. Will going back on the old man for the English, going back and picking the old main, which I think is, is the character that we learned to know HiWill as back in the day, if memory serves correctly. Nepal, slightly newer addition to bounty hunters. And this matchup that we're gonna be seeing, Ino versus Slayer, gosh darn it, have we seen this a lot recently. And it's been won from both the Ino side as well as the Slayer side. Very volatile kind of matchup. If you manage to knock the Slayer player down, great. This character doesn't have good reversals whatsoever, so you can kind of blender them down with just continuous mix-up after mix-up. On the other hand, if Ino gets touched, magic happens. Boom. Where did Ino go? Where did little Ino go is the question that we're probably gonna be asking quite a few times during this set if Nepal manages to find those big counter hits. And here we go. The last ride of the Valkyries. What's next year gonna bring us? Probably 2.0 eventually. But for now, we will ride into combat. In the left corner, we have the mix-up witch, hoping to find some sort of Hail Mary to knock the opponent down and blender the opponent down. And in the right corner, we have one of the highest damage characters in the game. One of the most hated Guilty Gear characters of all time. Weird movement, massive damage, and can RPS you from really far away. Let's see how it's gonna go. Starting very safely, or perception is safely as HiWill moves backwards and then pounces forward with that horizontal dive. Good 6B. Ooh, ends up into switching sides. And now Slayer is down. Oh, wait. I blinked. How did Slayer get out of there? Was that forward dash? Nevertheless, Will able to get the target back into the corner position and finish it with a super. Wow. This is not time to blink. It's like 30 frames and one of these characters could be out of pressure immediately. Nice 6B. Reaction to the 6-6 float dash. Alright, decent damage. Not the most hardest hitting combo that we've seen, but followed up with a counter hit. I think that's gonna be it. Boom. The rounds for Ino are gonna require a couple more reach, whereas Nepal on the Slayer can absolutely two-tap Ino. Finding a counter hit. We have the 50 meter as well. Wall stick would be okay. Nepal manages to fight out of the corner though. Finds a hit. Danger. This is a hard knockdown and now you're guessing for your life. Will can reversal with the super though. Yo, absolute champion just not sending the super. As soon as we bursted the opponent into the corner, goes for the command grab and it doesn't even kill. Are you kidding me? Fighting against a tough boy, Slayer does, like, if there's something to be said about Slayer's defense, it's at least he has like a decent amount of EHP to work with, which kind of makes sense. The kind of archetype he is and the very little amount of reversal options out of the opponent's pressure that he has. Kind of same way as Potemkin. Yep, jump out is gonna be one of the go-to counter plays that you can do against Master's Hammer. Aggressive burst. Will still has an opportunity to burst out here. Doesn't even have to. Backdash, reach the throw, and now here we go. Roller coaster right is starting. Trying to fade. Huh? Wasn't Will airborne? How does that 5 heavy, or that 2 heavy hit? What the hell? Reading out the red, sorry, not red RC, the wire C. Getting thrown back into the corner for his drop balls. Here comes Nepal. Can't break it with the, oh, wait. Trying to go for the biggest possible wall break there in form of in the form of Pile Bunker. Missed it the first time, but doubled it up. Starting with a 2S. Yeah, holding onto the ground, stroke the big tree. Will be able to call out the 6P. The 6P is usually a hard call out, like if you play it prematurely. Is a call out to the float dash. But then you would have to play one of your grounded normals instead, such as that button, too heavy, straight into the loop. Oh, what is going on? We still get the hit. We still get the kill. I wonder if that was a little bit of a panic RC there. Might have also been because, like, if you realize that you made a mistake there on the combo routing and don't wanna drop the opponent into a dangerous position, I guess you can save it by using the RC. Either way, even with a couple of hiccups, we managed to get the round, and now we have 1 point for both players. Ooh, that's a dangerous trade here, but Will manages to pounce out of the corner position. Blocked Master's Hammer, that's -1,000,000. One more hit, plus frames for Slayer once again, and the Master's Hammer definitely is a party starter. 6 heavy to skip past. I think was that a forward dash or a stroke to big tree? Nice counter poke. The heavy buttons are really great for just putting stuff active on the ground, limiting the Slayer player's horizontal movement. Here we go with the multiple overheads. The follow-up after Nepal ended up whiffing with that 2P after the horizontal dive recovered. It's kind of a shame because 2Ps. Oh. But hold that thought, we get a big counter hit too heavy to start it up with. And another counter hit could be it unless the wall breaks prematurely. It's actually gonna be Will who finds the counter hit here. Coast to coast, setting up the note. Can still queue up the super. Excellent, 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 excellent. YRC immediately upon impact. Don't want to guess too much. There we go. That's the other popular counter play against Master's Hammer. Wait until it touches the ground, and there's a couple of frames before the impact damage goes online, so you can absolutely, on reaction, throw that tool if you're cracked as hell. And in fact, it's basically the counterplay tool that gives you the most amount of reaction time, so it's generally recommended by the professional players. Nice spacing trap there. Opted to wait and not hard commit to ending the sequence with a special move. Here comes Nepal though. One counter hit and it could be a stolen round! Let's see the biggest damage that you can do. Can we loop here? Absolutely. Goes for a hard bait. Will still gets it out. Same style of burst that we saw on the previous round. If you go for a really fast, aggressive burst bait, drop your combo, and then commit to a block string. Yeah, the opponent still... Yeah, opponent gets an opportunity to not only get out of the first combo, but still can break out of the subsequent one. Switch sides. Are you ready to react? 20-frame reaction check. It's a lot of reaction checks that this character can sort of mess your mental stack up with. It's like one of the mental stack the characters kind of a beat, Slayer. Speaking of mental stack, if you're worried about all the other options, there's also this blood-sucking universe, sees the burst coming out, and that is gonna be it. Nepal evening it out 2-2. Extremely even start. Lots of chance to develop. Where does it go here? Where does it go from here? Ooh, it's one of the few defensive tools that we can rock as Slayer player. Backdash moves you really far. It is a slow backdash, but it is a 6-frame invulnerable backdash that moves you extremely far and can be cancelled into that move, Hand of Death, which Nepal used there earlier. Blocking the node for maximum amount of hits. Did get Will an opportunity to mix up, but breaking out of it. Can get a wall break here, I think, because we know. Okay, dropped into the corner. That was even better. Even better than locking them into a wall break, which would have taken Will back to neutral, technically, I think. So many plus frames. Dash through them, get the throw. I think that was, again, meant to be a deflect shield, perhaps. Who knows? But got mixed up in the heat of the battle. Crucial drop there. Ends up costing Will not only the pressure, but also getting punished. And here comes Nepal. Do we have the combo? Swap positions one more time. It's stuff that happens a lot during Slayer's combos for sure. Send the pile bunker. Oh, that's a lot of meter spent. But that meter expenditure makes her look at that footsies. I don't think I've ever seen anybody air to air against that horizontal dive from Ino. That's kind of wild. That is footsies. The air footsies that Guilty Gear is known for. Alright, good check here. Not letting Nepal run through the opponent for a mix-up for free. Good evasion on the note as well. Time to take pressure, time to react. 20 frames. Are you awake, old man? Are you awake? Although I'm not even sure if Will is that old. But I mean, hey, everybody turns old and gray when they have to fight against Slayer, right? Because there's just so much stuff to keep an eye out for. Alright, clean 6p. That is another counterplay that you can have on that MoB punch, which is one of the RPS makers. If you go for a preemptive 6p, beats out pretty much all the MoB punch versions that Slayer can play. Tap them. Alright, finds able to confirm that those jabs are actually landing, and now mix-up time. YRC immediately able to actually use it before they have to block the overhead. Wakes up with the command crab, dirty stuff. Works really well in tandem when you have 100 meter, and I think that's basically the time that Will has been going for that reversal command grab as well. When you have that 100, when your opponent is thinking you would wake up with your actual reversal super PRC, that's when you can muster the the respect. That's when you can extract the respect from your opponent. Oh, mix them up, overhead with the jump D. There was some sort of hiccup there with the sequencing. I think this goes through, right? Yeah. Because it is a teleport kind of super. Too bad for Nepal though, because Will was respecting that time. Leading into another evening of the state of affairs here.
Mankind knew that they... Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, starting with a big one. Would Will burst? Absolutely would. The downside of delaying your burst even a little against Slayer is that those initial hits, they hit so hard. Like that's a two-hitter combo, and Ino almost lost like 1/5 of her life just from 2 hits. Oh, and the shimmy into a 2 heavy. I mean, Will didn't exactly bite on that shimmy, but tried to go for an up at a 5-framer, which, yeah, is not quite gonna reach as far as that 2 heavy from Slayer does. Hammering them down, minus frames, still pressing buttons. Especially if you think the opponent presses low buttons, the 2 heavy is there to crush their lows pretty much a 5-frame startup, normal, with a range of S buttons, basically. So a really nutty button to use in those scramble situations. Now, expecting Will to go for a burst immediately, dropping a couple of combos, Will getting excellent value here. It ends up being Nepal who has to burst in order to keep the opponent in the corner. And now, we're not even gonna use the burst, we're just gonna spend it on Wild Assault. Boom, shakalaka, half of your life, and in a mix-up position. These are the kind of patient plays that Will absolutely needs to leverage the explosive potential of Nepal's 100-meter super. Would this kill? I think this kills right. Ino is not the best character on defense. No, actually it doesn't, huh? Interesting. Not nearly as damage as what I was expecting it to do. I mean, it foregoes the wall break. It can never wall break, so it's kind of like a... It still generally does more damage than whatever you could do otherwise, even with a wall break. But then you have to consider, like, do you want to go into the next screen while still holding on to 50 meter or not? Ooh, nailed them with the Mad Love. Hot knockdown as well. Nepal does have the full burst here. It is debatable if he wants to spend it here, though. Yeah, I think this is the safest play. Just taking it to the last game here. Or sorry, the last round. Yep. Burst out of the first hit, and now back to the neutral we go. Ooh, just barely misses the... That was a true punish, was it? That just goes to show how much recovery there actually is on Slayer 2 Heavy, despite it being an absolute nutty button. Definitely a button without vulnerabilities as well. I got that with a 2D, that's a counter hit. I think Will's burst ain't gonna come back. So Nepal building for the first time a comfortable looking buffer here. 2 games ahead. Are we gonna pull it through?
Duel 1. Let's rock.
With that tech round start there, 6K over Will's, what was that, 2S? Alright, setting up the shop. Blender initiated. Even without the note, you still have an opportunity to go for like a true high-low, especially on characters that can't DP you. In fact, you can set up safe jumps on DP characters as well, but they are sometimes a little tricky to set up. You do have some manual timings that you have to go through. It's much easier to safe jump a character or like a Oki character without the note who does not have the reversal DP option. And Slayer doesn't have that even with the use of 50 meter. The OTG blowing into pressure. Will disengages, making the 2 heavy from Slayer with. Ooh, got caught overhead. We do have the meter as well. We could potentially sequence this. Okay, just cashes out. I mean, cashing out with the reversal, cashing out with the hard knockdown super on a wall break, never the wrong decision. Ooh, we got the gold burst. Can we do anything with it? Looks like no. So much meter that we unfortunately were a little scared to burn.
Duel 1.
Opting to go for a reversal throw instead. Nobody's home, and now Will from downtown sending that horizontal dive once again, catching the trajectory that Slayer is often locked onto. Slayer is a character that has a lot of mobility on the X-axis on the ground. Alright. Wall break. Will is playing with decent amount of resources, finding the horizontal dive again. And now forcing the pressure. Nepal doesn't manage to get any sort of meter burn out of this one. Empty float dash into the command grab. I think this is the first time in this set that Will gets to use it offensively. I mean, I guess technically there was that one game where Will bursted Nepal into the left corner and then went for the command grab immediately. Burst has been used, so Nepal has to work through this organically from here on out. Yeah, minus after the dandy step follow-up. Oh, just falls onto the ground, and then setting up, nope, wire C. However, HiWill was able to make that a safe jump of epic proportions. Even if you don't have a DP, even if you don't have a reversal super, there is still the threat of wire C, and depending on how you sequence your Oki jump-in situation, you might be able to be safe against the reversal, sorry, the wire C. 5 points even. We are heading into the championship rounds here. Empty low from the node setup. That's gonna be the wall. And then some. Able to sequence perfectly so that we got the hard knockdown as well. Counter hit, that's gonna be it. Will, once again, has acquired the leading position by just a little bit, just a hair. Yeah, that's the biggest enemy. The public enemy number one for Stroke the Big Tree. The too heavy, the low invulnerable move that leads into so much punishment if it counter hits. Nepal, oh nice, both with that 2S, oh sorry, that's not even 2S, that was a 2D. Ino's buttons hit deceptively far away. Good reaction, standing to block the overhead. Oh, that was an interesting sequence. Nepal was actually able to block, tried to wake up with a throw again, but if you miss with the command grab portion of the... Oh, speaking of command grabs! Universe immediate burst out there will kind of have to do that. Because you do, of course, you always want to have a little bit of a buffer against... Far Slash? My best anti-air? Far Slash? My baby? My savior? We're pushing Nepal towards the right corner. What can we do here? We can do mix-ups. A little bit of mix-up Perino with this original up, down, left, right woman. At strike throw in there in the curriculum as well. Successfully blocking, but for how long? When Master's Hammer is concerned, I feel like you've already, if you take Master's Hammer on block, I feel like you've already screwed up so bad that the sort of expected value for the round is probably you losing, unless you already have a massive advantage. 2D hits as a counter hit. Nepal hesitating a little bit going for the combo. Not this time around. Finally milking the burst out of Will's burst bar. And now any hit is gonna be good. Both players missing their low pokes. It ends up being Nepal coming out of this exchange. Superior, sticking, breaking. Looking to take HiWill for a ride. Plus frames out of the airborne super. It actually black beated or purple beated there. From the guard crush. Not holding backwards means that... means that the opponent can just strike you through your guard. Okay, Will is awake, is vigilant. Diving in the heat of things, trying to whiff punish stuff. Although, you know, not the best known character for the whiff punishes. That's why often you gotta go for a Hail Mary, such as Stroke the Big Tree, such as one of the dives, or the like. Minus frames from the follow-up. Oh my god, Nepal is so good at mauling with those, you know, mauling out of those minus frame situations. Ooh, great throw. Set point Nepal, so HiWill have to play this perfectly. Plus frames from the Mad Love, setting up the shop into an empty low. Not the most damaging combo type, and forcing HiWill to kind of sequence it so that we're not like trying to not give a free card back to the neutral for the opponent. Back to the neutral we go though, and Nepal managed to find a crucial hit. Back, wait! Evading it. Is that it? Is that it? No, not quite yet. Super Mappa Hunch doesn't get a clean hit from that range. Gold Burst. Oh, we can send all sorts of wicked shit. HiWill better maintain the offensive position. However, Slayer manages to slip and slide away, and Team France takes it home in another nail biter. Nepal with that Slayer. This is also a great win for Team Slayer, because I think so far, out of all the games we've had on Bounty Hunters between Ino and Slayer, I think the score was relatively even. So for now, Team Slayer will stay winning until we see another Ino step up to the plate. That's a spicy event for the last of 2025. But yeah, it do be over for now, but we shall see you next year in the year of our Lord 2026. Looking like we're gonna proceed as per the usual schedule every Sunday 5 p.m. CET. The rocking and rumbling is gonna continue. If you want to sign up for the next week, you can definitely do so on my Discord, where the sign-up forms are gonna be posted, and we'll try to match you up against a player of your skill level, as well as somebody who you have really good connection to. It's basically the name of the game. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure of hosting another year of Bounty Hunters, and we shall see what 2.0 brings if we get another successful year in the bag in the future as well. But that said, gonna see you next week, gonna see you next year. Keep playing Guilty Gear, keep training. We'll be right back. Bye bye.